Ahoy, crypto pirates! Welcome to your Discourse Syndicate's FN Hangout with me, the captain, your captain, R to the G to the motherfucking 3. Thank you all for showing up. Appreciate you all. OGs, newbies, never beens. You guys are the best. Why? Because you come here and support us. Let me say hello to the chat room because we got some cool stuff to talk about. And if you're coming into the show, just to let you know, because of all the trolling that's going on, we usually just open up the show to everybody. But to keep the bullshit and the riffraff away, show who you are. You don't have to stay on for the live stream, but just show us who you are, show us you're there. You got clothes on, you can do that stupid. And we'll let you come in. By the way, everybody, I am sick as a dog. I'm sorry if I am not my normal captain self. Been on the couch for like 2 days since I got back from Vegas. Horrible. I don't know what it is I got. I haven't been sick in years. Now I'm sick. Anyway, welcome, Van. Good to have you. Fast Abdul, what's up, dude? Crispy's hanging in Vegas with us. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. I heard you got sick too, man. I don't know. A few of us got sick coming back. I didn't get sick till I was home for a couple of days, so I don't think it was Vegas that got me. How's the bull market treating everybody, says Eagle Owl? Yeah. Look, man. Eshtar, what's up, dude? Freaking OG of OGs, Eshtar. And, of course, Crypto King, the producer. Adam Chadwick, what's up? Another OG. Jason Smith. OMFE. What's King say? Is Jack forking PulseChain to give us copies of all our X plus XX? Oh, crypto's funny, man. I was wondering when it was going to start. You know, this forking was going to start getting ridiculous, and all this shit was going to, Anyway, well, XX probably doesn't have T-shares though. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze probably. Oh, anyway. Great. So dipshit fucking what's his name's gonna fork Pulse, huh? Is that the word? Shillem Defoe. What's up, guys and girls? Hope everyone's having a relaxing Friday night. You know what I'm gonna have? I'm going to have a Peroni double lot. That means zero alcohol for those of you who don't understand. I still love the taste of beer, especially when I'm chilling, hanging out on Friday night with folks like you. Still love them. Like say, like something about like having pizza and beer. Still like to have a beer every now and then. Let's see. Robert Kelleher, what's up? Hope everyone's having a good day. He says, to Bit Finesse. Jack taking another pass. Yeah, Bit Finesse. What's up, dude? Man, that guy's out there driving truck and promoting and helping the Hex ecosystem since day one. Freaking awesome. Still having you here, buddy. 10 cups, 12. What's up? Mr. Chips. Hi, ETH Gas. And Mr. Chips. Gotcha. Who else? Melv Tony. He's like part of the ship. He's, what would you call that? Engineer? Yeah, like Scotty or something. I don't know. He's back there just always hanging out, doing stuff for us. Sandy Beach, my lady. Our female, always here, mascot. Chris Brun, hello, Vivid. Well, more EHEX today. Good for you. Looks like it's a really, really good bargain right now. It's getting a better bargain. That's something I want to talk about. What's up, Dorsey and Defoe Margie, my brother, dude, you're awesome, man. I appreciate you. You are one of the best memers in the world. The Defoe meme will live on forever in my heart. You are the best. My favorite was the one you did to your wife. That was brutal. That was brutal. That's great. Long live the Defoe meme. Let's see. SM Spider. Hello, Hexicanos. Yes, hello to you. Sorry to hear, RG, that happened to Crispy. Yeah, I heard Crispy got sick too. Yeah. All right. ID. Zima. You're having a Zima. Okay. Big Onion. Oh, fellow millwright Hexican. Oh, hey, you're a millwright, huh? Yeah, man. I did a stream the other day and kind of talked about that a little bit. I wasn't a real millwright though, man. So you're probably a real millwright, like you know all the really cool stuff and do all the technical things. That wasn't me. I was just I picked things up and put them down. I moved big shit. That was it. I just moved big shit. And yeah. Not taking anything away from guys who do that, because it's definitely, there is an art to it. You know, like I can move a 100,000-pound machine into a position that people, you know, half inch on this side and a half inch on that side, get it where it's supposed to go within, you know, a couple millimeters and set it down and level it out and all that kind of stuff, which to me is not a big deal. But to anybody who doesn't know how to do it, yes, it's a big friggin' deal. Let's see. All right. Let's talk about this week. Oh, okay. Stretched out a little bit here. So we had an amazing event in Vegas. PulseChain Tour Las Vegas was freaking phenomenal. We had a great time. Shout out to my boys, Crypto Coffee, Dollar Cost Crypto, Access Live. Who else spoke? Cultivate Crypto. Let's see. Who else? There was a ton of people there. We had Donovan Jolly. We had Ben Bitboy. We had the Project Pi guys taking away the win for the Pitch Fest. And we had Tang Gang running in close second place. Those guys were fun. Had a great time with the Project Pi, or the Tang Gang guys and the Project Pi guys. But really, really good time in Vegas. So proud of everybody. It was Hexicans coming together, you know, getting to see people that, you know, had a differing opinion from me, and sitting down and talk to them. And really when it comes down to it, we don't have differing opinions. We all kind of believe in the same thing. And I think that's what happens, is we sometimes get lost in the messages here. Look, guys, I know that everybody feels betrayed. Well, not everybody. Some people feel betrayed. Some people feel like Richard did something to you. Some people feel like they did something to themselves or whatever. Look, I want everybody to sit back and take a moment. Everybody's a little impatient. If you've ever heard people talk about building wealth and building investment wealth, it's about the patient taking away money from the impatient. That's really what it boils down to, is the patient taking away money from the impatient. And I've been around for a while, and I've been saving and scrimping and putting money away for a long time. And most people I know who've retired have put away money for a lot longer than I have. Just because crypto moves as fast as it does, just because in the beginning of a new emerging market, you're going to have a lot of volatility. Crypto isn't going anywhere. Bitcoin proved that this stuff is valuable, that there's something here. Ethereum proved that we can make it do cool stuff. And Hex proved that there is a use case for it. So that use case is now here. It exists. But guess what? It's a long-term hold. Some of it for 15 years. And for everybody to get excited about somebody, the founder, not just somebody, the founders saying something, which was a true statement, which isn't anything different than what we've all said. We've all said that Hex is better on PulseChain. I've been saying here from the beginning. Richard Hart created PulseChain to make Hex better. That's it. I said better. Just make it better. It doesn't mean that eHex isn't good. It's still as good as it was when we ran it up 10,000x when there wasn't a PHex. It's the same product, guys. Just because there's a market capitulation because some weak baby lettuce hands get scared and sell, you guys, oh, it's all over with? Just burn the boats. It's all over? No, man. You guys are making a knee-jerk reaction. Knee-jerk reaction. Knee-jerk reaction. Now, is Ethereum screwing us? Yes, Ethereum is screwing us. I think Vitalik should be kicked right in the nets. I think he deserves it. Now, of course, it's not all his fault, but he's the face of it, you know? And they did put this Decun update in, so that's going to fix the fees a little bit. But it's going to take a little while for them to fix everything. It'll eventually get fixed over there. And Hex is going to be popular on both chains. Remember, there's only about 65 billion Hex on each side, on PulseChain side and the Hex side. That's liquid that can be staked. I don't think that's enough Hex for the world. I really don't. I think that the world needs more Hex. And that's not enough for the world to do what it's supposed to do. So what's my opinion of all this? Well, I understand those of you who were playing the short game and got wrecked, your feelings, but that's your own fault. You shouldn't have been in that, put yourself in that position because this stuff's volatile. It's going to move up. It's going to move down. And that's what it did. It moved down. And it did so emotionally. It wasn't because the product of Hex ain't any good. It wasn't because Richard said it's not any good. He just happened to say something else was better. That's it. And then you guys made the market. You guys did. Not Richard. Richard didn't pull liquidity. You motherfuckers sold. And then when you sold, you didn't put it in the thing he said was good. Some of you some stupid motherfucker. In fact, you emergency edge staked your shit. Oh my gosh. So once again, I got to benefit from people being stupid. I didn't do anything with mine. Nothing. Left it alone, just sitting there. You peoples. And then people acting like it's the end of the world. When you got motherfuckers out there stake 15 years. This is a market capitulation. And again, I'm telling you, all markets with good products have gone from here to here, from down to up. And in between, there's all this human emotion bullshit. And I get laughed at for saying that because that's my charting. That's it. That's my charting. And it is. Historically, if you look at the charts, there's nothing but up and to the right, and then emotional capitulation in the middle. In the middle. Huh. Swearworks says, Swearworks says, EES only made sense before the big payday for specific reasons. Otherwise, don't touch that EES button unless you know exactly what you're doing. Swearworks is 1000% right. I have always been good to the Hexicans. I have always been the guy not taking from this community. I have always been the guy giving in this community. And I'm taking my bow right here, right now. Because I have never, ever, ever tried to freaking squeeze money out of you guys. I haven't set up pools and taken percentages off the top. I haven't taken money for anything you guys have done. Everything that you guys have donated, everything that you guys have done for this channel, everything that you guys have watched and sent has gone back into the channel. buy cameras and sets and take care of you guys so that we can fill up stadiums and tell the world about DeFi. I made a movie that, we get criticism for that all the time. Oh, that didn't do anything for us. Again, patience. When crypto's really, really booming, when people start to see it, maybe they'll start to look at us a little bit, because there's a movie out there in the big wide world in crypto to see. So anyway, I'm a little discouraged at some of the attitudes and actions of some of the Hexicans out there, but I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I know that this stuff gets emotional, and look, I'm here for the long term. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to keep doing what I can to give you guys more content, more platforms. Like I said, there's better people out there doing this that don't have bandanas and wear suits and ties and all that shit. There's better people. And hopefully they'll reach, the real financial world, but I'm just still going to be the real down motherfucker that's talking. That ain't going nowhere. That hasn't scammed you out. That hasn't lied to you. That hasn't tried to sell you a bill of goods. Because this community needs that. It needs that type of leadership. It needs people that won't go away. It needs people that won't capitulate. I still think that all the products that Richard has built are the best crypto products ever built. And they're going to continue to go up and to the right. Period. Now, what did I say about EHEX? It was a good deal. It's a good deal at under a penny. It's a good deal at a penny. It's a good deal. Even now that it's another 97% down, it's still a good deal. I never once said that Hex on PulseChain wasn't better. It is. It is, and we should all be promoting things on PulseChain. That doesn't mean that Richard's first product that he built wasn't good. The market spoke and said we need to drop the price of it. So, hey, price is down again. Still ain't going nowhere. You think it's just going to sit there and rot away and die? Look at all the other cryptos that have freaking gone down and got destroyed, and they're back. Ones that don't work. Ones that ain't worth the shit. The meme coins. Look at all that shit's back. You think Hex isn't going to come back, honey? Got news for you. Up and to the right. Up and to the right. That's what markets do. And it may not happen in your time, but it happens in time. Time in the market, not time in the market. All right. I'm going to shut up and bring some guests on because we have one here. And this isn't a normal FN Hangout. This is one where my friend is showing up. So if you guys don't know, when we first started, streaming, there was this gal out there. She was the crypto gal. She was in the Bitcoin Maxis corners, and she was talking to all of them, and she had access to all of them. She works in the space, and she's a great writer. And she came to the Hexican community saying, "Who the fuck are you guys?" And then she started asking some hard-hitting questions and started, pissing everybody off and blah, blah, blah. And anyway, she ended up becoming kind of she ended up being a Hexican is what she ended up doing. And then she started seeing where all the rest of crypto was wrong. And now she's one of us and a Hexican. So I'm going to bring her up, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, our friend, the Nerd Girl.
Hi!
How are you? Man, I haven't seen you here on a Friday night in a long time. How you doing?
I know. So I saw that you were streaming, and then I streamed earlier with my friend Joel, out, not in the Hex community, about the same stuff that you were talking about. And I was like, well, I'm not doing anything, so maybe I should just go on the FN Hangout.
Yeah. Well, awesome. I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did.
And for the lovely introduction. I'm trying to position the camera so that you can see my candelabra.
Oh, your candelabra. Oh, you're not a Richard hater now? You're not a Richard hater?
No, I
either?
mean, like, I have never been a Richard hater, even in the beginning, like you were just saying, right? Like, when I came and started asking you guys questions, I think the reason that I came and started asking questions was because I couldn't understand what all of the dislike was. And, you know, like, I've certainly had criticisms of Richard and of the Hexicans over the years, but that doesn't mean that I've ever even like disliked or hated, you know, on anyone. For one thing, like all of the hex that I had on Ethereum, I have on PulseChain. So even if eHex does go to 0, like that just means that the, you know, hex will be higher, right? But I don't think that's going to happen. And I don't think that's going to happen because that's not how free markets work, and that's not how arbitrage works. The contract will be there no matter what. And if hex is significantly cheaper on Ethereum, people are going to buy it on Ethereum just to speculate on it because the contract is exactly the same.
Yeah, exactly. And
that's my thesis anyway.
I agree with you. Markets are markets. They don't change. They all rhyme.
Mm-hmm.
They may not be the same, but they all rhyme. And what that means is that most markets go up and to the right over time. And with good products, they do. I mean, look at all the projects out there that should have been dead in crypto. The projects that are absolute garbage that are running up right now. Like they should have been dead 2 cycles ago, but they're still running today. With nothing new, with nothing better. Hex is still Hex. It's still immutable. It's still the first blockchain certificate of deposit, something that you can make gain. You're still making more eHex over there. Even if it's 0.003 cents, you're still making more of it every day. It's like you're owning a miner by owning those cheap Hex. And
totally.
Yes, Ethereum is
you know
broken.
What's amazing with everyone EESing their eHex stakes has been like, if you're an eHex staker, you're maybe down big in value, but up big in number of tokens.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been an advocate of the EES because I make money every time somebody does that. I make more Hex every time somebody does that, and I make a joke out of it because it's really the bonus. It's like a bonus. It's like working, you know, those extra hours on a Saturday or putting in a Sunday or something. You know, I'm making a bonus whenever somebody does something stupid like EES, especially this last time that everybody did it. We made monster bonuses. But see, here's what this is what should make the Hexicans feel good about what just happened is that the hands that just dropped in eHex, they didn't bring that value over to PulseChain. They didn't sell and buy PHEX.
Yeah.
They didn't. It was proof. You can prove it. Look at the.
No, I know. People were like saying that it was like, oh, Richard abandoned his first child. I've made so many jokes about this week. I don't know if you've noticed, but like I've made so many jokes this week about this exact topic. Richard abandoned his first child. What's to say that he's not going to abandon the next ones? Now we need to like drop out of everything. And I'm like, you know, my dad abandoned me and I was his first child. And it's 10 years later. Like, well, I mean, that was when I was a kid and we've had like kind of a rocky thing, you know, ever since. And we hadn't talked for 10 years. And then like a month or so ago, we started talking again. And he's like, God, I'm so proud of like, because I sent him some writing and some of the stuff that I worked on. And he's like, I'm so proud of like what you've done. And you did it by yourself. And I mean, like anything can happen, you know, like eHex could be me. I could be eHex.
Yeah. I mean, I don't understand the angst and the anger and the dis-ease everybody has right now for like a couple days of red candles on something. I mean, it happens and it's already starting to recover a little, isn't it? I mean, where are we at? I haven't even looked at the chart. I literally
don't look at my portfolio.
Yeah, I mean, I don't look at it that much. I mean, I have to because I speak to people, but it's a non-issue, folks. And Richard isn't abandoning anything. He literally said Hex is better on PulseChain. And we've been saying that forever. And
Yeah.
maybe it's because Richard hasn't been talking to us much. And when he says something, it holds a lot of weight in this community, or with the people who are betting on what Richard's doing. And I think that's more of what it was people that were betting, which are weekended folks anyway, that were betting on a market run right now, are the ones that got hurt. And to those people, I do have to say something to some of the something that's real that's happening out there. To those people who were onboarding people who didn't want to work past the barrier of getting onto PulseChain, which is difficult at this point, very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And you brought them in on eHex. It's give it time.
Yeah.
Let those people dollar cost into, show them how to get on PulseChain. They can get some P-Hex, or the real hex, I should say, instead of the eHex. Show them how to use the system. Don't let them get soured. Show them that this is the market and this is how you do it. You continue to get in as things go down.
You know what's crazy is I was onboarding like this week, and I was gonna have someone buy eHex, Hex, Pulse, and Ink. And then this like whole eHex thing happened, and I was like, "Why? I guess I'm not gonna have them buy eHex anymore."
Well, it's and that's where your market intellect or your real instincts come to play. It's like, look, we all feel that way. We all go, and I just said it right now. It's like, ooh, do we tell people to get into eHex now after that? You know,
Yeah.
Of course. You should be getting into Hex on PulseChain, but you got to learn how to do it. You got to teach people how to do it, how to get in and do it. So onboarding is going to be difficult. It's difficult in crypto, period. It's going to be way more difficult to get into PulseChain. But
until the SEC ruling is complete, and then those, centralized exchanges list it, and then, it's a piece of cake.
Yeah.
You drinking duels?
It's a Peroni double aught.
Okay. So like the same as O'Duels. I was like, what is going on? Okay.
RG doesn't partake.
I know, because I remember, because at Burning Man we would go and ask, if they had O'Duels or whatever.
Yeah, no one had anything for RG to drink out there. It was only alcohol out there. But so hey, we got another Hexican in the back here. I'm gonna bring him up. Sorry, you've been waiting for a while, bro. Everybody, Nate, what's up, Nate? How's it going, bro? You're muted.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, no, things are going great. I just finished up with book club, and now here I am. I saw you guys were going, so I'm like, heck yeah, or hex yeah, right? So
what book are you guys on right now?
It was actually an Aaron Clary book. The mind blank is real. Wow, silly me, bruh. Okay. What was the book we just? What was that? Poor Richard's Retirement. That's what it was. Jesus, wow, silly me. But
Richard's Retirement.
That's correct.
Interesting choice.
Yes, It is very interesting. It is really nice. It is really nice that he does go quite a bit into like how almost impossible it is to, in the normal traditional system, to become retired. And it's literally like, if you're a millennial, you need to spend every single month $900 into a retirement fund until you're 65 years old, just to become retired. That's insane.
That's not even like comfortably retired. That's horrible. Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly. So the point.
Yeah, and that's why I'm banging on Hex so much, because there is such a better return here, even with the dips that we've got. Hey, we got your boy Zenith in here too.
Oh, yeah. You made it over.
He's got the book.
Yeah, that was me.
You're muted, Zenith.
Yes. Sorry, I was in the green room, so I was trying not to make noise. But yeah, what's going on, guys?
Hey, Zenith, I forgot what book we just reviewed. Could you remind them?
Yes, sir. We just covered Poor Richard's Retirement by Aaron Clary.
Nice.
It was actually, so I picked it because it was supposed to be short and sweet, but it was short and slightly depressing, because the financial future right now is a little bit depressing if you're the average person. But
the average person, and I've been talking about this for years here. I've been telling everybody that let's bring up Will too. Hey, Will, I've been telling everybody
Will's joining too.
that
Is this the whole like what is this Deegan roundtable?
yeah, it's DJ Roundtable meets
Okay.
effing tonight.
Okay.
So what's happening, Will? So I mean, I am of that close to retirement age. I really shouldn't be retired at 57. I am, but that's because of crypto. But I wasn't going to. You know, in the movie, if you see me when I first met Richard in the movie, I tell him, I mean, with damn near tears in my eyes, I wasn't going to make it, bro. I wasn't going to make it. And that's how emotional I was about what this did for us. You know, that book, I lived that son of a bitch. I lived through it. Like you guys are just starting. You guys have some options now. You guys have some options to change your future, your fate, and the way the world is going. I didn't have no choice. I was sucked into that thing, and you know, I blew through all my vertebrae trying to chase that 401k. And if I wasn't smart enough to have become an entrepreneur on the side and try and break myself out of it, because I'm really not a great entrepreneur. I'm not that go out and kill it kind of attitude guy. I was a great worker bee. I worked my ass off. I did my job well. But I didn't know how to, you know, I was a buddy of mine and me, we owned a used car lot together. And he had this like badass salesman down there. Name was Jaime. Jaime would get out there and he would sell anybody a car. Like you were leaving with a car. Even if that son of a bitch was at 80% interest rate, he was selling somebody a car, right? Now, me, on the other hand, I'd go out there and I go, man, this family doesn't need this car. They don't need to get this. They, you know, he told me that. He said, you don't got the killer instinct, bro. You are never going to be a good car salesman. I said, why? He goes, because you don't know how to kill them. I know how to kill them. He goes, you see people that need something. You see people that you want to help. I see a deer that I got to put a bullet hole through. And he said, you don't have that. So you're not going to be a good car salesman. I said, you're 100% right. You know, and that's always been who I was. But because on the side, I knew that I was never going to make it, I had to make something else work. And when I seen Hex, I said, this is the 401k killer here. This could change people's lives. This could help regular folks turn into retired folks that don't have it, that aren't getting it anymore. The millennial generation and forward, you guys don't have shit, man. You don't have shit. And that book told you exactly what I've been telling all you guys, is that you guys got nothing. No financial product is going to help you to get retired in the amount of time with the amount of capital that you guys have. It's not, that's the only thing that's going to work. A 15-year stake. And everybody came at me hard because they're saying, oh, the OGs told you guys all the 15-year stake and they dumped on your heads and blah, 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 blah. No, we did not. We told you, yes, 15-year stakes are necessary, important, and needed. But for those of you who need money in the short term, income ladders, staking ladders, put staking ladders together. Figure out how far in the future you want to start collecting on those staking ladders. Look at the cycles now. Shit, we could pull up a chart of the cycles and I could show you every 4 years crypto runs like clockwork, like friggin' clockwork. And here we are today, bitching, whining, moaning, and complaining about the greatest product that has ever been handed to people. And it's in the DeFi space, So
Cap, I think
I hope you guys got something good out of that book.
Yeah, we got some good stuff for sure. There was some interesting data that was slightly depressing. Like, so on average, the average Gen Xer has about $69,000 in their retirement account. And to hit their like magic number for the finish line for retirement, they pretty much need to put in $500 every month. And then for millennials, it's much, much worse. They found that on average, the millennials have about $5,000 in retirement accounts. And for them, it's going to take about $900 every month to hit that finish line number. So it's going to take a lot of work. And to your point, I think cryptocurrency investing, specifically with Hex and PulseChain as well, is one of those things where it's going to be able to help you get those returns that people saw back in the 50s and 60s. Because another thing the book pointed out was like back in the day, we had like 4.5% economic growth. Now we're down to about like 2.5, 2.25, which means that things are starting to slow down. But now we have this awesome opportunity to jump into a fresh new market that is just accelerating so fast. And if you can handle the volatility, then you can also get the gains with it. So
I'm just
So
really
here's
glad I'm not the average millennial or Gen Xer. I'm ahead of both.
I know, right?
Yeah,
Feels
like
good.
that makes me feel good.
well, and it's because you've gotten yourself into an emerging market that is giving an equal playing field for people to actually go out and build wealth and build retirement. Now, because of the volatility, because of the new emerging market here, there are going to be people that make a lot of money. There are going to be people that get in and do very, very well. And that is not that should not be the norm. That shouldn't be the mindset that people should have going into this. If we want to blow this thing up, first of all, we've got to stop crying and whining and worrying about the people in crypto. The people in crypto are like 2 to 3% of the world. And 90% of them hate us, hate Richard, hate his products. Period. End of story. A few of them are coming. They understand. They want to get involved. But that's it. We are trying to play in the wrong sandbox. We need to take messages like this, like what you guys have just read in that book, and take messages like this out into the real world, out into people's living rooms. People need to hear about this. People need to be coming together and getting really loud about this, and forget the mad gains crap. Let's talk about what this product can do for average, normal, everyday folks, and go out and start promoting it, because that's where the real volume is going to come in, is from outside of crypto. I don't care about the 2% that are here already that aren't going to come anyway. So what? They'll come in. They'll come eventually, but we've got to get out and start hitting the real world. We've got to. If we don't, we're failing, because crypto ain't going to listen to us.
You want to know what's crazy is I've really thought that things were changing. Like in the time since I first got involved with Hex and, I work in cryptocurrency, I have seen a lot of attitudes change. So I was really under the impression that like the whole perspective of Hex and Richard and the Hex community had changed considerably. And then I bid on a gig recently, and I thought I had it in the bag because I had the best bid that there was for sure. And when they came back, they actually specifically told me you didn't get it because of your involvement with Hex. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, you have got to be kidding me. I'm the most qualified person for this, and the involvement with Hex. Yeah, like that is the lamest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
What was the job? Are you not allowed to say?
I am not allowed to talk about that.
Okay.
Ooh,
I'm not
secret
sure what
stuff.
it is. I'm not sure what it is that you do for a living. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I do a couple different things. I'm a journalist. I write for a few different media outlets. And as a journalist, I can write whatever I want. And then as I'm also a PR agent. So, because journalists don't make any money. So like I had, as working as a journalist kind of taught me how the back end really works and how to manipulate the front end. So I was like, well, if nobody's going to pay me well as a journalist, I'm going to have to go do PR and then just do the journalism more as like a counteracting thing. Like I do the journalism to not even for the money, because a lot of the times I go to media outlets that are brand new and I'm like, hey, you could use a couple of names contributing for you. But the thing is, I won't make you pay me, but also I maintain creative control of my content. So I don't even I do the journalism as a public service so that I can say what I want to say and what I think people really need to hear. Like I write a column called Confessions of a Crypto Insider, where I talk about all of the things that happen behind the scenes that people don't know about. And then the PR is what pays my bills.
Yeah, she works at she's gotten me in contact with highest echelons in the crypto industry, and the things that she has to go through to work and to be part of these groups and projects that she works on it's insane to me. I mean, this is the most crooked, corrupt, ridiculous space in all of investing. I mean, it's insane what goes on back here. I mean, we've seen it.
Well, the Wild West, though, you know.
We've seen it. We've seen the fact that they won't list us. The fact that because Richard won't give them coins and won't pay them, they won't list us. We've seen coin ranking sites literally throw us on this 200-page mark just because they don't like reality. Reality is Hex. Hex is reality. This is real DeFi crypto. The reason that we're seeing what we're seeing is because everybody wants Richard to pump their little baggy bags. Everybody wants Richard to go spend that money he's got on their bags. And that's not reality. Reality is you're not ever supposed to ever think that he's going to buy anything. Now, has he said that he would like to buy the thing he owns? And yeah, of course he said that, but that doesn't mean he's going to, and that doesn't mean you should be expecting that. You know, we pumped this thing. I know that there were multi-millionaires and billionaires getting into Hex when it first launched. It wasn't Richard pumping this bag. No. There were big wallets coming in and buying up Hex. And that's what made Hex go up and do a 10,000x. It wasn't Richard pumping it. It was everybody else. Now, were there market makers and things that happened within the dexes that kind of helped the market get itself started? I'm sure there was. I can't prove that it was Richard or anybody else, you know, that's involved in the project doing it. Some people say they claim that they can do that. But you know, I don't know how to look deep enough into it. And I don't know what Richard's wallet addresses are. So I couldn't tell you, and I'm sure they can't either because none of them know who Richard's wallet addresses are. But that's not the point. The point is that we had big money coming in because of what Hex was. Now that we've spread the wealth, we don't have anybody coming in. We've lost, I guess, the marketability of Hex in this beginning of this new bull market. We've got some work to do. I think that this community, now I don't know if the community is what's going to stop people from buying, but this community has gotten more toxic. That's for sure.
Oh God, yeah, so much worse. Like it was always toxic.
For you, yeah, you know, you
even in the very beginning, it was always toxic. But like it has gotten worse. By the way, guys, I tried to follow all of you, but I don't know if I found all of you. If I didn't, just like, let me know.
So I'd like to go ahead and say a couple of things just to kind of add on here. All right,
yeah.
So I've already been pretty vocal about this now currently. I think as of right now, the Hexican community space has gotten pretty toxic. And the reason being for that is very obvious. You know, you've got people who were expecting people. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. At the very beginning during Pulse launch, right? You got free copies. People saw the free copies as free money given out. Here's the truth. What Richard was doing was he was taking the E-Hex, right? And he was taking his firstborn son and moving it over to a new city. And so what was left was kind of just a shell. So E-Hex is not Hex. All right? So people need to understand that. That's how it was moved. You still technically have free money that was given to you for absolutely nothing in E-Hex. The only reason why people are very upset over it now is for the singular reason that they kept buying E-Hex in speculation. And now it's gone down a lot. However, now it's become what you may call a meme coin. Okay, this is where I would call scratcher territory. It can and will, well, not guaranteed, obviously, but it very well can, and most likely, in my opinion, will pump hard as well. And guess what, guys? You've still got money. All right. So there's no need to freak out. All right. With that being said, now let's go ahead and get over to what's really going on as far as getting new onboards, right? Getting new onboards, personally, because of the identity crisis that Hex is currently having, all of this chaos going all over the place, I think Hex needs to step aside because as of right now, what we have is PulseChain. PulseChain is just like Ethereum, except it's way cheaper. It is a lot easier to build projects on PulseChain than Ethereum. You can come over here and you can do whatever it is you'd like with it. It's a lot funner. There's a lot of good narratives with PulseChain. It's a brand new L1. People love L1s. Okay? That's going to be the thing that's going to draw people over. And I can guarantee you, as soon as people start playing around with Ethereum and they're paying $170, like $70, $100 worth of gas fees, they're going to be like, well, this kind of sucks. But, you know, a meme coin pumped to the moon, right? And then as soon as they start, we are advertising, hey, we're the exact same thing as Ethereum, only works better and it's cheaper. They're like, wait a minute, I only have to pay 2 cents rather than $70 over on PulseChain. All right, let me go check it out. And as soon as they get over there, they're going to have the vibrant community that we currently have. And so personally, I think the tip of the spear of our advertising absolutely needs to be PulseChain. And hats off to you, Captain, for having the PulseChain tour. We got Matty Allen doing the PulseChain conference now. I think if we Hexicans try and back off of the Hex a little bit and more focus PulseChain, I think you're going to see some very rapid new wallets coming in with new fresh capital. And then from there, when people start having a good experience in PulseChain, we go, oh, by the way, PulseChain was created for Hex. And Hex is the store of value. And then that's when people are like, oh, I really like this thing again.
I've heard people say that a lot. Cycle, like the way to go with new onboards is cycle 1 coins. And, you know, we talked about it a lot even during the last cycle, that during this time, the first things to pump would be everything that cycle 1. And then as store of value, everything would move into Hex, as Hex is the Bitcoin of the Richard Hart ecosystem, right? So those are good. I have to go. I'm sorry. My daughter just got home and I promised I would watch a movie with her.
Well, thanks for coming, Nerd Girl. Appreciate you. We'll talk to you.
Nice to meet you guys. I'll talk
Great
to you.
meeting you.
Take care. So I want to answer a couple of questions in the chats here. So Jim says 2 weeks ago on stream, he said Pulse is new and unproven network so far. Exactly, 100%. It's not proven. We haven't proven it to be a good chain that people are going to want to flood into. That's why we have to go out and prove it. We have to bring projects to it. We have to bring people to it. I think that's what Richard was trying to say this last week when he said, hey, everybody, Hex is way better on PulseChain than it is on Ethereum. Fact. That's why he made Pulse. That's what I said from the beginning. Pulse was made to make Hex better. Wasn't there to pump your bags because there's a bitchin' badass L1 that's going to 100x on you. It was made to make Hex better. Why? Because Hex is the GOAT. Hex is the product that Richard is trying to bring to market. Hex was his baby. This is just an L1. All this is a fork of Ethereum with some improvements and upgrades and a system, what do you call it? A copy of everybody's coins, all that good stuff. You know, it's funny to me that people. Well, it's not funny to me. People got into this thinking that they were going to walk out with 100x in the first few months. And I'm sorry if that's what you thought, but that's not what it was here for. And that's not what we've been saying here. We've been saying here is that it makes Hex better. And I think Hex is the greatest crypto product ever been made. And we need to take it to the world. Now, there was another one in here. Hold on one second. This one here. Ooh, he pumped your eHex bags, but now that you've made it, people can't ask for it. Look, guys, Richard didn't pump my eHex bags. I know what Richard did. I know what the money that was coming in did. It wasn't Richard that did all that. That's not what happened. You can say what you want, but I'm telling you right now, the reason that we are having such a hard time growing right now is because we've diluted. And because we don't have people out there promoting, everybody is out there talking shit about everything we have. Literally talking shit about everything we have. Talking shit about our community, talking shit about the leaders, talking shit about what Richard's built, what he hasn't built, what's broken, what's not broken. Nobody's out there promoting. When Hex came out, we promoted. That's what we were doing. We were fighting everybody. from our parents to the crypto insiders out there. We were fighting everybody to try and promote Hex, and people were coming and people were getting in and seeing what it was all about. And that's what made it pump, was people coming. And I think that this community has lost sight of that. And instead of fighting, if we were all out there doing more to promote, if we were all out there traveling around talking to people about PulseChain, then we could change that narrative.
To fire back on this one, I think all of us over at DGen Roundtable are a little bit new when it comes to being Hexicans. Like, I first bought Hex back in 2022. So since then, I've only gone down in price. However, at the same time, I'm still very, very happy with everything going on over here. It's like, yeah, you can ask for the bags to be pumped by Richard, but at the same time, it's like you said earlier, that's not the reason you're here. You're not here because you want Richard to pump your bags. If that's the case, I'm sure there are plenty of other chains and coins that would love to have you there so their founders can try to pump it for you, and you can just so happen to catch part of it. But the point here is that
Solana.
Not naming any names, but yeah. But the point here is that we like it because it has the use case and it has function, and this is by far the largest and, in my opinion, the best grassroots community. I know I'm new to Twitter. I just started actually using Twitter like 6 months ago. So personally, I don't see all the negativity and the toxicity. If anything, I like to stick to the live events and talk to the people that come hang out with us. So it feels like a lot of positive energy, to be honest. And it's people that are all in this together. And the thing that I hear the most is that we're all going to make it. Because I even covered this on the stream we had on Wednesday with Crispy Man. He runs hexfire.io, which is a Hex stats website. We were looking at the emergency unstake numbers and the payout rate for eHex. It only doubled to like 16 Hex per T-share. But at the same time, when you looked at the total number of holders and the amount of Hex still staked, it really didn't drop by that much, which means that people are in this for the long haul and they're not making the dumb moves like emergency unstaking, losing half of their initial investment. It's like, I feel that there's enough sentiment, which is that we have staked out long enough to the point that we're not counting on Ethereum to have those upgrades for the gas fees, but it's likely, which means that there is still some value there for the use case. It may be a meme coin, like Nate said. However, at the same time, there still is absolutely the possibility to make sure that those T-shares are going to end up paying you out well, despite the gas fees.
Yeah, and here's the thing too. When talking with Crispy and Axis, you know, they were talking about how. Sorry, I was talking about how I was surprised at how. My bad.
All
I
good,
had
brother.
a little mix up there. But I was talking about how much I was surprised at how many people did not emergency end stake. So what's that telling you? What that tells me is that people are still thinking, hey, something is going to happen with this. There's going to be some sort of rubber band shot on it. Okay, cool. Because what I was expecting when I read that tweet was I was expecting just about everybody to end emergency end stake. And do you know what I said? I said to the entire community, our DGen Roundtable community, I said, I'm not going to touch those. I'm not going to touch them. I'm going to let them ride. I'm going to let my stakes ride. We'll see where it goes. I'm kind of excited to see what happens because this is a lot of fun, guys. When things drop like this, I would say it's a good time to pay attention.
This might be. Go for it, Will.
I think that you guys are approaching this with the crazy middle brain and big brain theory. I have the peanut brain theory, which is where if I have one hex and I decide to stake it and I destroy my hex and I wait for a couple of years, now I get 2 hex. And if I emergency end stake, then I don't get my 2 hex. Then I only get 1 hex. Or maybe even 3/4 of a hex. Who knows? But if I wait 15 years, then I get 4 hex. Doesn't matter what the coin is. Doesn't matter what the thing is. If I take this can of bubbly sparkling water and I destroy it right now, because I know that later on I'm going to get 4 cans of sparkling bubbly water. The price of the sparkling bubbly water might go up, it might go down, it might go left, it might go right, it might do who knows what the fuck, right? But I'll still have the asset X, Y, and Z years down the road. I can't remember who it was. Somebody in the chats was saying something about the code still works the same way it does. So shout out to you who was talking about that. The code is immutable. You can't change it. You just stake the thing and it goes away and then you wait and then it comes back later. Like, all of these, everyone's like thinking themselves, or a lot of the folks in the community, I should say, not everyone, but a lot of these poor folks that are emergency end staking and selling their bags early, they're operating on like the, oh no, the time is bad now, like this sucks right now, and they're not thinking about like, oh, what happens if I just wait? If I just wait for my contract to end, or if I just like, sit tight, relax, and basically do nothing. The thing that most people do wrong in the cryptosphere is they make too many decisions. With the fantastic product of Hex, you only need to make 3 decisions. You buy, you stake, you sell, right? And that's it. If you start making like, oh, I'm going to buy and I'm going to sell, I'm going to buy and I'm going to sell, and I'm going to trade and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to try and time the market, the more decisions you make, the more points of failure that you include on your little timeline, on your little road to riches or whatever. And the thing that I like is that it's super simple. It's super easy. People need to stop like overthinking themselves into like bad situations and stuff. So that's my 2 cents on this whole problem. Is everyone's just going crazy, and it's just like, bro, just chill, just be a little peanut brain diamond hand, and then everything will be okay. Or it won't, and we'll all go to zero. In which case, you need to learn how to make more money anyways and solve more problems. But like, it's all a fun learning experience.
This is true. There's a bit of an uncomfortable truth on this one, which is, yes, it has been effectively a year since PulseChain launched. And in that time, there are people that have added on to their positions on the Ethereum side of things. But just remember that when PulseChain launched, every stake that existed on eHex was copied over. Therefore, if you had a stake that lasted longer than a year, guess what? It got copied over. So it's like the copies do exist. There are some people that fell through the cracks, and it does feel a little unfortunate. However, at the same time, Richard did post the receipts. He was saying that for a long time that PHEX could potentially outperform, and his tweets kind of just were a culmination of it. But the point that I got out of some of those tweets was that his focus was on Hex as a concept, surviving, and then trying to reward the people that are the longest holders and stakers, which is that if you had those Cuatro Cinco stakes, guess what? You haven't touched them yet, and they haven't gone anywhere. So they now exist on PulseChain too. So it feels bad to lose out on something, but it's important to recognize something was also gained a while ago, and now you're just kind of losing out on the thing that was copied originally. So does it suck? Yeah. Yes. Are there ways to remedy it? Also, yes.
Yeah. The only people that lost are people who were looking at short-term gain, maybe over leverage themselves, and weren't utilizing Hex like it should be, which is using it to stake. Those people that got in that quick tried to get out. Again, Hex is not a coin that was made to be traded. Now, have people traded it? Of course they have. For a long time they have. But it's not what it's for. It's for the long stake. The benefits, the real benefits of Hex don't start kicking in until 10-year stakes. That's the real benefits. Like 10 years and longer is where you get the most gain. The most maximum effect of staking comes from after year 10. It starts to compound even more all the way to those 15-year stakes. Way better than anything out there that we have as an investment tool.
Something I'd like to bring up. So obviously adoption is going to be our number one thing, right? Number cannot go up if we do not have people coming in. That's just the flat truth.
100.
So I mean, I've already kind of spoken on Pulse, right? PulseChain, and why that's going to be, I would say, the tip of the spear to be able to onboard people. Number one, I think we need to start, and for the audience out here, if you can, I think we need to make something as easy as possible to onboard people. Literally just go to this website that's not scary in the least little bit, and then you just click next, next, next. If you do something as simple as that, then there's going to be it's going to be a freeway into PulseChain. Then from PulseChain, that's going to go immediately into Hex. Okay, so that's pumping everyone's bags there. All right, here's the other thing. Now, you want to be looking at narratives as far as people moving in, right? So right now we have what? We got AI, like DPIN, real yield, memes. Okay, so what is it that we currently have on PulseChain? Oh yeah, and GameFi. That's another really big one. But what is it that we have on PulseChain right now to draw those people in? I would say don't really have anything other than memes right now, right? So I want to go ahead and shout out Tang Gang, right? Atropa guys, you know, P Dye and all that weird stuff, right? you guys really like,
and it's not weird
these,
because they're trying to innovate. They're trying
that is
to
true.
they're trying to do things that have never happened before, that have never been done, and I like that. You know,
Yes.
whatever methods or whoever's involved, and you know, whatever. I'm not concerned about that. It's what they're trying to do and how they're trying to do it that's innovative. They're taking PulseChain and ripping it open and looking at how they can utilize it to bring DeFi to the table. I love it. And
Yeah,
Let me
exactly.
bring up Johnny because I'm going to bring this guy into the conversation. My good friend and
Hey,
OG
Johnny.
of OG Hexicans, and someone who I counsel with often, my buddy Johnny Chaos, and he is looking like he's got something to say.
Well, the thing is, there is some truth to what Nate's saying there about onboarding into Pulse. The other part of that is there's no reason to shit talk and bring up the fact that Richard decided, because Richard also said that Inc. was the most unimportant token there was. How'd that do? Okay. So the idea of we have to shit on something else to get its economic energy sounds like where the greed comes from. No. Don't you put, no, I only own PHEX. Please just come over here to this. That's the fact. Okay. Everybody that's in EHEX, we got both. There's no reason to be greedy. We got both. The greed comes from the people that no, only pump this side because that's where we're at. We have leveraged all of our stuff over here. We only want you here. Don't do that. No. Richard said. Okay. There are people that are buying off centralized exchanges. MEXC sells Hex. It doesn't sell PHEX. All right. We are not reaching the entire Ethereum community. I'm sorry. We're a joke to them. We're Luna 2.0. We have a dead body in their city right now. That's what we got. Do you think they're going to come over to our new island when all we left is a dead body in their city over there? Is that good advertisement? Hey, look at our dead body. Come see, look what else we built over here. They'll be like, nah, man, I'm good. See the dead body. I'm good. We'll just, heard you guys were a little crazy over there. And the other thing is within our community, we have people laughing at everybody. Now when we
Doing
just
happy
had
dances.
when we just had Hex, right? We used to have the wall of shame. You remember the wall of shame, RG?
Oh yeah. Yep.
We used to laugh and heckle people. Oh, you weekends, you got out. Coming out of a bear market, you do not want to be being that kid from Simpsons that's going, because they ain't coming to your community. They're like, wow. Okay, for the people that bought on MEXC and got slaughtered, okay, they're not coming to our new island. They're not. Their first experience with Hex has been bad. All right. But where I have a problem with this is, we got a lot of people saying, well, you're just greedy, or you want this, or you think Richard should do that, or blah, 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 or you should trust Richard, or Richard's going to pump our bags. Whatever happened to no expectations for the work of others? Our culture has changed from long-term staking and long-term thinking to Richard's going to pump my bags.
Yep. We've even got big influencers saying that shit.
We got big influencers saying that. And you know what's worse? There are people over there watching Richard pump ink and selling their ink. Wait for it to sell off. Buy it back. Richard pumps ink. They're selling on his head. So what's he rewarding, really? Traders at the moment. So what are we starting to do? We're starting to reshape our culture again to trading. Hex is starting to lose its narrative. All that economic energy that everybody on PHEX said was going to come over to PHEX when all that stake ended, not a bit of it came over. Not a bit of it went into PHEX. None of it.
Nope.
In fact, they were the first to sell on your heads. Look at how they ran that down. They ran that down 60%. It pumped up all the way to 3 cents, and they were there. They were ready. They were ready. Aha, here comes everybody over. They were ready. All right. This is trading behavior. This is not anything that I signed up for to teach. Okay. So I'm frustrated with the community. I'm frustrated with the toxicity. It's gotten to the level you cannot be just yelling weak hands and you guys don't deserve it. Some of these people are putting their last paycheck in there. Look, if Hex goes to 0 tomorrow, both sides, I guess I'm just out that money. That's money I didn't have anyway. It's money I didn't plan to have for 5-6 years anyway. So, oh well, I guess I'm back to work. Whoop-dee. It doesn't end my life. It doesn't end my world. Some of these people are scraping up what little they have, and they're putting it away. And the only Hex they know of, or the only one they're familiar with, or because some friend told them to get in, and maybe they didn't have the ability to go through all the bridging and complexity, right? So I'm just
Johnny,
saying.
question for you.
What?
I got a question for you. So specifically when it comes to the shift in culture, you mentioned that the incentive structure has changed a little bit to now unfortunately, however you want to view it, is traders are being rewarded. Is the culture shifted and changed, in your opinion, because the incentives have changed? Or is there another factor that has shifted the mindset from staking to trading?
So when we launched Pulse and PulseX, we had a lot of people that saw how Hex had done. And they looked at Hex as old, and they went for the new thing, thinking that this is his first product. This is what it did. I'm going to the new thing. I'm going to get my 10,000X. I'm getting the start from the beginning. There's a big start from the beginning narrative, right? And they're different products. Each one of the coins is a different product and has a different purpose. Okay. If you look at Ethereum and Ethereum Classic, Ethereum is the copy. It did better, okay, than Ethereum Classic. It's the only one fork that ever has. So from an Ethereum user's perspective, any chain that's come along to compete with Ethereum up into that point has failed. Bridging has nothing but bridge hacks all over. You hear all about bridge hacks from Ethereum. No, don't bridge. People are terrified to bridge. Bridging's scary, okay? It used to take 17 hours to get over to Matic.
Yep.
All right. People thought their money was like gone forever. And then you see, exploit here, exploit here. They're like, screw that. I ain't going over no bridge. Right. Yeah. There are barriers here still. I mean, we could say that's opportunity, but Jesus Christ, I'm up to my neck in opportunity, guys. Okay. And the fact is, we have to stop thinking closed-minded and snow globe. Richard can say whatever he wants. Okay. Richard's not the market. Okay. He buys his own coins. He's the market. Well, if it's one guy buying the coins, we ain't going nowhere, guys.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, you can.
One guy does not a market make.
This product needs world adoption.
$6 billion. One guy does not a market make. Okay.
Yeah,
that is correct.
So if we do not work on our image and work how we treat people and be respectful and empathetic of their positions, because not everyone's as educated, number one. Number two, not everyone's in the financial situation where they can say, well, I lost it. I'll walk away. It's all right. I'll make my money back. Some of these people are really trying to get ahead. And your average American doesn't have $500 in their bank account for an emergency fund. And we're talking about they lose $500. That's a big impact. We can't treat these people like, well, too bad for you. We know what we're doing. They might not have the knowledge. They might not follow Richard. When you go to the store and you buy a hammer, do you ask who made the hammer?
Whales prime
even
the pump.
Important to you?
That's what they do. They don't make the markets. Whales prime the pump and get things going. They're market makers, and that's just it. They're market makers.
Well,
let me bring a couple more OGs onto the scene here, so we can have a good conversation. We got Echo Builder.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
And we have Identity Block.
What's up?
What's going on, man? Good to see you.
I'm good, guys.
I'm not going to hold up the show, Captain, anyway. I just wanted to say, look, guys.
This is good.
I want you to be here and your insight, your ideas, the things that you've said in the past. You showed everybody in the early launches of PulseChain what market makers could do and what liquidity providing could do, and how it could make the system, primed and roll. And you were 100% correct. However, that didn't happen. It didn't happen.
Well, it didn't. I said the ratio, the OA could set the ratios anywhere it wanted, and it did. anywhere it wanted. So
Yeah.
the idea obviously was that Pulse was going to be Pulse side was going to be at a premium. That's where they wanted it, because he wanted a migration. It wasn't set up as a migration, but always that was the intent, to bring people over to PulseChain. The problem is, like, to end a 5-year stake right now, what's the point? You're what's the point of emergency unstaking a 10-year stake? You get nothing.
Mhm.
Plus, you're going to pay a big gas fee to Ethereum. I'm fairly certain with the emergency unstakes, he didn't intend people to pay an emergency unstake fee to lose half their bag, to take it across chain, to trade it for 6 to 1. Not that that's what happened. What happened was just the one side sold off, and because it reduced in dollar value, it was reduced in ratio, but it wasn't being transformed. It's not like it all moved over to the Pulse side. No, it unfortunately, what it did was it put people in a shorter time frame where they felt like that. It's hard to get people to stake for 2 years. It's hard to get people to think next month when their bills are due. That's a hard thing to do. And then once you get somebody to commit to that, and you pull that away, now that they're uncertain, and then they drop right back into trading behavior. It's what's going to pump. Well, how do I make that money back? What do I drop it into to make that money back? They go right into that.
Hey, Johnny, do you mind if I say something here?
Go ahead.
So what you're doing right now is you're talking back and forth about the hexes. This is the problem.
Yes.
Okay,
We
so
should
now
just-
what I want to go ahead and hit on what you said there. That's vitally important. People are going back to being traders now. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, do we not have something that was created just recently that actually is good for trading? And then if you add on what I was talking about with meme coins being over here, where people are going to want to start trading meme coins all over the place. Plus, we have many ecosystems within our ecosystem that is all based on memes. Then what do you think is going to start happening? I think what you're looking at right now is kind of like, this is the way it used to be, and I wish it would go back that way. And we need
No.
to try and get people to go back that way.
No,
If that's
I
not
just
what it
want
is,
people
then
to
maybe I
stop.
misunderstood. But here's what I think. I think what we need to do is we need to move forward. Move forward with what's happening. Don't try to force a market to go a certain direction. Try to pump the market in the direction it's already going. The direction it's already going is being traders. The traders are going to be trading memes basically and other coins on PulseX, and then PulseX is going to do what? Pump. And PulseX is also on PulseChain. Again,
Assuming
I think
anybody even goes over there. That's the thing. How do you get people to move when their only view is the dilapidated building that you left behind?
that's why I said we need to make the tip of the spear PulseChain.
Well, I agree.
Hex needs to take a step back. Any Hexicans in here need to take a step back. Okay,
And
let
I-
The
PulseChain.
problem is if we do that right now, like if we're seriously gonna just our main goal is just gonna be turn this into Binance 2.0.
You got a good point there.
That is
The
a
way
good
that I
point.
think
The idea was that we were not gonna be that. Once that started happening, that's when some of us knew that the price of Pulse was going to start going down, because we were diluting everything, not just the brand, but our bags and our intentions and attention. So I mean, that could happen if we can bring in, $5 billion. If we're just going to keep doing the same money and then we're going to be just rinse and repeat, then no, because then it's just we're going to be creating 1,000 more coins to divide the same money.
So
Here's the thing though to look at is Binance has done pretty good. So we're going to be Binance 2.0.
I mean, they did good until they got just rinsed by the
right?
feds now. Like, I mean,
But
and see-
regardless of that, though, if you look at the amount of activity you're getting, right? So what do you have? You have Ethereum and then basically Binance at all times on top. So we want PulseChain to be on top, right?
here we are. We're going after the crypto space again. One more time,
Yeah,
we're
I
going
guess so.
after the pennies.
Yeah.
We're picking up the pennies in front of freight chains by trying to appease and adjust to the crypto community. We are stupid if we sit here and think that we're going to get the crypto community to come in here and save all this shit. That's not what he built this for. He built this for the world to get into crypto. He built a better Bitcoin. Bitcoin brought 3% of the world in.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
Exactly.
This product can bring 20, 30, 40% of the world into crypto. That's what Hex can do. Now, the question is, how do we do that? How do we change the narrative? How do we break down the barrier to entry? How do we bring the normal folks into this and show them what Hex is? Because the code's immutable. The code is done. Richard hasn't done anything to change the code. The code is still there. It's still good. And anyone who thinks that Ethereum isn't eventually going to fix itself, you're mistaken. It will end up fixing itself, and fees will get lower, whatever. They've already did the Decun, upgrade today, and that's supposed to lower some fees. I don't know
Well,
how
that
much
one's
it is.
just layer 2, but there's another one
Layer
planned
2.
down a year and a half from now.
So,
Yeah.
and so
We need to
eventually-
go for a bigger market, though. We can't just go for
Exactly.
memes. We need to go for the trillions. We need
memes
to go
and
for
trading
real
is the
world
crypto
assets.
space. Yes.
Imagine
is
we
a-
can hit like 2%, 1% of like the $5-10 trillion that are coming from RWAs in the next like 4 or 5 years through PulseChain, through PLSX, through other dApps in PulseChain.
And
Okay, so what has anyone seen what Solana's done?
It's just memes are 2018, so it's just
No, that's
going
currently
down every
really
other
popular
month.
right now
yeah, and they were in 2018.
In the crypto space.
in the crypto space, and like I get it. You know, like you
Yeah, I
you
mean, like
definitely
you're
want to
trying
set
to get
yourself apart.
100% of $1 billion market. I'm trying to get 5-10% of $1 trillion market.
There you
$10
go.
trillion
That's
market.
Exactly, but you need adoption for that.
Yeah. So how do we do
You have
that?
to build it.
Versus trying to
When you build the
adjust-
RWAs, the future, you don't build the memes of 2018.
Peanut brain style, baby. You show them, hey, you have one thing now. You break it.
Yeah.
You break it, and then you get more of them later. Doesn't matter if
And
it's
here's
a
the
roll
thing
of
with the
duct
gas
tape.
fees, Will.
Yeah.
Here's the thing with the gas fees, Will. How much do you need to get you stake once? You know, by the way, when the gas fees were at the highest, Hex was 50 cents.
Yep.
Everyone seems to forget that. That just has totally left their mind that, when the gas fees were highest, when it was the hardest to get in, when it cost you half of your money to get half of the Hex, when you're trying to put for that, that's where it was at its highest point. But anyway, it's still the same thing. Nothing has changed over there other than the fact that there's a new thing. And let me warn you guys about something. When you leave the new thing or leave the last new thing to go to the next new thing, guess who's waiting for you? The guys that left the last new thing. That's how that ends up working out when you're following the laser pointer sort of thing. And look, they're bonded. Unless Richard pulls the liquidity, they're bonded. And if even Richard pulls the liquidity, another whale could step in and add that liquidity and bond them back. It's not going anywhere. It's immutable, unstoppable code. There is no reason why Hex on the other chain can't be a penny. And even at a penny, it's still real money and it's still making you more money. And if you're only if you're staking $100,000 over there and it costs you $1,400 to end it and you're making 40% yield,
Right.
it's still viable.
Yep.
So
Just
that
big
doesn't
high
change
taxes.
it doesn't change anything. So, but yes, obviously, we want people to go into Pulse, especially people that are going to stake shorter term with smaller amounts of money. That's where we want to send them. It's fine from here forward to send everybody into Pulse. That's great. But when people are emergency unstaking and just giving up and deciding that Hex is broken and now they're not even going to go buy the new one, that's where you got a problem. So then you might as well be buying memes. Then you might as well, because it's broken. But Hex, the problem with Hex is it is ahead of its time. It's being marketed to a ecosystem that is interested in trading and not interested in saving. They think investing is, I got to get in, get out. That's investing for them. Investing isn't. Investing is the 300 toys I've got on my shelf that are over 30 years old. Okay? And I haven't got my price out of them yet, and they're not going anywhere till I do get my price out of them. just like my hex. And I am perfectly okay with taking all of my hex, setting it on the shelf, leaving crypto altogether, and checking back in a couple years.
Yeah, and this is another one of those compounding effects of what's going on eHex right now. So as cheap as it is right now, if you were setting 15-year stakes out on eHex right now and waiting for that 15 years to come for Ethereum's gas price to come down, you can stake a lot of hex right now. Well, one of the bonuses is that you could eventually see the supply dwindle with people bleeding out, because there's a lot of stakes that can't unstake. Period. They can't unstake because of the fees.
Got a couple of those.
So for these next few years, we're going to see, and they've been bleeding out. And guess what? That hex doesn't get to hit the supply. That's burnt hex. Burnt, gone, never coming out.
And not just the fees, Cap, the Genesis stakes, the ones that have Genesis stakes plus big payday.
Big payday, yep.
Yeah, I mean, if we were to end those, we get zero. So we spend the gas, and then we go look at our balance on Hex, and it'll say, big fat goose egg. So
yeah, might have to spend some of that Pulse side to be able to pay for our gas and some of the bigger things.
So yeah, and then I always say, if you have Genesis stakes with big payday, go and look at it all the way, 100%. Because even at 99%, you'll kill the bonus.
And Richard didn't kill anything, by the way. He said Hex is better on PulseChain. It is.
That's all he said.
That's not an argument.
But,
you know what? Yeah. Just because something is better than water doesn't mean water isn't good. And he didn't shoot. Sami painted a pretty picture, which was kind of funny. He's like, and what he was expressing was, that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like to everybody outside the space. Okay. But the reality is, Richard shot a shot in the air and everybody reacted. And when you're talking about people, their default fear. Okay. Humans are default fear. You shoot a gun, most people are going to run. And that's run, duck, cover, something. Okay. Not most people go towards the danger, so it wasn't what Richard did. It's how the community reacted. And then it was all the people standing up going, ha ha, I told you it was this way. I told you. They didn't know. Right. If you held both, you had a 100% chance of winning. But if you only got one, you had a 50% chance of losing. Yeah. And I never once said buy only EHEX. Not even once. And then you were talking about going towards Pulse. I said, if you're going to argue between EHEX and PHEX and create division, shut up. Just sell Pulse. That's what I said. So anybody wants to go back and watch all those videos, you'll figure out the path. I was trying to avoid this division, and I failed terribly at it. I thought maybe if I painted some pictures, people would realize that how bad the division was going to get and how bad it was going to suck, and nobody cared. So that's why I'm frustrated with everything. Has nothing to do with Richard personally. Has nothing to do with not believing in the product. It has to do with how the community's reacted, how my feed is filled with trolls, and I'm just over it, man. I'm just over it. I don't need any of this. I can walk away. I can set it on my shelf, and I can say, you know what? I'm going to go back to work. I'm going to build my business, and I'm not going to worry about this. It's either going to work out or it's not. But I'll be damned if I'm going to give my shit away for nothing. That's dumb, And unfortunately, it's not just, see, that's kind of wrong to say that too, to say it's dumb. There are people that are actually really hurting and really panicked and really bleeding out there. And it's not cool. It's not cool anymore to make fun of them. We got to stop that shit. As a community, we just got to stop that shit.
What's funny is
what other people are doing,
we have some OGs out there that have been in this system, streaming, we're here from the beginning of this, laughing at those people. And that's just wrong. And, just because you were here first and you made your gains and you ripped everybody else off, doing your pools and the things that you've done, to sit up and do a happy dance on people right now is really classless and shows your lack of leadership. And you know who you are. You guys have come out of the woodwork, haven't said a word to anybody or done anything for anybody. And now all of a sudden you've got you're going to go poke sticks in people's eyes and get on Twitter and start doing happy dances on them. Hey, you know who you are. I know who the fuck you guys are. So whatever. Yeah, keep doing it and making yourself look bad, because that's what we need. We need to weed out all the weak hands, all the weak leaders, so that we can take this thing forward and move it into other spaces other than crypto. I really want to get out of the crypto space, because we're not doing anything but spinning our wheels here. We've been working on this for 4 years with crypto, and we've got like 2 or 3 influencers out there that have said, as you guys were right. That's literally what it's taken. It's taken 4 years. The rest of them still know what Hex is, but still want to butt up against it. Don't want it to be true DeFi, because all of crypto has been waiting for true DeFi. Wants true DeFi. They wanted Bitcoin and Ethereum to do it and be it, but they can't. They won't. They never will be. Richard gamed the system. Richard did the right thing and built the right things, and we need to take that and move it forward. That's what this community needs to be doing versus, poking each other in the freaking eyes.
Yeah, I mean, you can go any direction you want. You can have a favorite coin, but they all have their purposes, and there's no reason to shit on anything in your own ecosystem. I mean, that just does not make any sense. If you have an updated product, that's great. So market the updated product. But, if you give people the idea that you make bad products and they're going to break down every 4 years, you're not giving anybody an idea for the future, And if you're trying to build something that is a long-term sort of thing, knowing that it's going to break down at any time, or this can happen or that can happen, that freaks people out. Yeah. And people are hurting, man. And I that's the blood. I just can't handle all the blood anymore. It used to be cool, but now it's not so cool.
There's the link, Richie. Come on in. Come on and show us. And by the way, just I'll let everybody know, if it was dying, if Richard killed it, then it would have died and continued to go down forever. We've seen coins do that. We've seen what happens when a coin dies and it goes down.
Yeah, we retraced 156 days. That's where we're at. We retraced 156 days. That's it.
Yeah, Hex Classic has 3 green candles on the dailies right now. Just saying. That doesn't look like something that is dead. So anyway.
You're not talking about the proof of work one. You're talking about the one on Ethereum.
What's that? Proof of work.
Oh, Lord. But see, guys, there's another example too. Look at that, right? On unsupported chains, Hex did nothing.
Yeah. Yep.
That's kind of freaky. Okay. What happens if you isolate yourself from everybody else on your own little island? That is not a good play. Okay. That is not a good play. And like I said, for the Ethereum people, they trust their chain. You can get somebody to switch from Ford to Chevy. Get somebody to give up their favorite sports team. Try it. It's not an easy task. That is no easy task. Now you can take your new onboards that aren't in the crypto yet and get them in the Pulse pretty easy. And once they get in the Pulse, they're not going to look back. And then they're not going to change their brand. But this is going to take time. And I've told people, from the beginning that we're rushing in for 100x, that it takes 1 to 2 years for a chain to be actually viable. All right. Because most of them just don't make it. They don't gain the adoption. Now we see what's going on over there, but we're the only ones that see it. None of those coins are listed on CoinMarketCap. We have to have Pulse Coin List, and we got to tell people to get there so they even know it's there. You might as well have a store in the woods with no roads and no map and no GPS to get there, because we're knowledgeable. We think everybody is on our same level or knows the knowledge, and, it should be easy. Well, you just do this, or it's not that easy.
You think it's hard getting somebody a Coinbase account. Try and get them to figure out how to use it. Right.
But look, guys, I love you. Best wishes, maddest of gains to everybody. I'm not going to hold up the show and sit here and ramble all freaking night. I just want everybody to be respectful of each other. I understand traders have a place in things. I'm not hating on anybody for any way that they want to do anything or promoting. Just try to be kind to each other. Okay, guys? Take care.
Thanks, Johnny.
Thank you, Johnny.
See you, bro.
Hey, Captain, to answer the question that you asked a little bit earlier about how do we get new people that are not already in crypto into the space, I got a specific answer for you, and I got a more generalized answer for you. And ironically, they both come from your show. The first one is the stream with Yabos. When you guys were talking, or did I say that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys were talking about how this needs to be easier, and I completely agree. We were talking about how bridges suck, Ethereum gas fees are terrible, and it's easy just to have that one-stop shop. And I know as much as we don't like the centralized exchanges, getting PulseChain listed on a centralized exchange would definitely help with some simplicity and ease of access, because then from there, you're already on PulseChain, solves the gas fee, and it's just one simple swap over to Hex. You now have the gas. You now have the gas to unstake your Hex as well, and that's how you do it. The more general answer, in my opinion, for how we get people that are not in crypto into the space comes from how to win friends and influence people, which is that people are uniquely interested in the things that they are interested in. I think that as crypto, we've done a pretty poor job of pitching things to people. You'll see tons of just like meme coins yelling at people, buy my stuff, but never giving you a reason to buy your stuff. I think that if we can understand who the non-crypto folks are and what makes them tick, we can then just present and offer what we have. If they like it, fantastic. If not, no big deal. I think Hex is in a really unique place to do that because it's such a great one-to-one translation of that certificate of deposit, which is the second most popular product at the banks. It's super easy to show people like, hey, you love this thing already. I know you want to save for the future. There's a way that you can do that in an emerging market and cut out middlemen at the same time. I've done it myself. Here's what I've done. If you want to learn how to do it, more than happy to help you out and get you in there. So I think it's the simplicity and it's the understanding other people instead of just throwing your own things at people, hoping that they like it.
Yeah.
And let me curtail that real fast. So if you can see this web address here, mailhex.xyz, it's a mail address that I set up because I've been sending out mail to folks, which is free business cards like this here. Well, upside down, and this one here with the Monopoly guy on it.
Those
backside
are sharp.
Monopoly as well. So the backside of this pretty one, it has like walkthrough of YouTube. So it's a way that people can relate and also passively earn or passively learn. And I've got these stickers as well. And so basically I'll be sending you, a whole thing of stickers. If y'all reach out to me, and you could send an address of any sort to like a business address, a PO box, your residence address, your real name, your fake name. I don't care. I've been distributing these things to everybody because I'm a Hex OG. I've got Photoshop in my background to where I can create these things and distribute them, print them at my cost, absolutely free to everybody. I've served 250 people so far. I just wanted to do that plug because I've created some tools here. And so I feel like I've done something for the community, and maybe it is that you guys don't have the same exact skill set as me. Maybe it is that you're more of a social person on the ground. Well, I've got tools for you. So I can equip you and you can go and do your thing. I think that there's talent all throughout our community. It's just that we need to recognize each one of our talents and use it, fortify it, bring it to the forefront to help out everyone.
Exactly.
Well said, Eco.
Real quick, let me jump in. Hey, Richie, I've put the link into the chat about 4 times for you. So it's right there.
I was laughing. I don't think he wants
underneath
to find
you.
it
It's
now.
right there underneath you. Come on in.
Right there, Richie. Right there under. Just
right there
click on
underneath
it.
you. Just click on it and you're in. And then Eco, he's been here from the beginning, doing stuff, making free stuff, marketing materials for all you Hexicans to go out there and do it on here. If that's something you can do, if you can go out and put up some stickers or send out some postcards or hand out business cards that have the information on how to get into Hex, hit him up. It's right there, mailhex.xyz, and he'll get it to you. That's a Hexican doing Hexican work. I mean, I've been out to his place, and he hosted me out there, and he's got a whole family business office dedicated to Hex, and he's out there doing the real work. And it takes all of us to take our skills, to take what we're doing, to go out and start talking to people. His family business is in a really cool looking, small town, square kind of place. And people walking by there all the time, they're always seeing it. They're seeing the windows open with Hex all over the walls and graffiti art and all this. It's very, very cool. That's the kind of stuff that we need to do. That's the kind of outreach we need to start having. And it's just one person talking to one person, because guess what? If we're doing these things, if we're doing what we can, one person's going to bring in, 10 people, and then those 10 people are going to bring in 100 people. And before you know it, it just starts to grow. It's Metcalfe's law. It's how it's done. And we don't get to traditionally market in crypto. The world is starting to hear about crypto. It's starting to hear when Bitcoin pumps to 70K and it breaks all-time highs. People hear that, but they don't know the reality of what's going on in here. They don't know about true DeFi. They don't know the nuances of centralized exchanges versus decentralized exchanges and what's happening in that world. They need to know about what it is we're doing. And that's the outreach we need to make. Look at that. So
yeah, with these tools, you can rise to the occasion of correcting your speech. The first conversation is going to be kind of hard, but over time, I've learned from the elders in my society, over time, you get really good at what it is that you do often.
There you go. Let me see if I can get this to. I see you're watching, Richie. You're watching from Twitter, I imagine.
Oh, that's why. That makes
that's
sense.
why he can't see it. He can't see it in the YouTube chat. It's right there in my Twitter. It looks like we don't follow each other. Maybe I can't find you, Richie. But it's right there. If you go to Twitter, Captain RG3, you'll see my last post. The link is right there. Join us. It's the link. So just go in there and you can.
I thought he was trolling us.
No, he's been throwing some cool stuff up there. He sounds passionate. That's what I like. I like passionate Hexicans.
Hey, I got a question for the gang here. One of the it's about simplicity in crypto. So one of the things that I've heard is an analogy that crypto right now is kind of like the internet and email back in like 99 to 2001, which is that literacy was very low, and that over time, people are eventually going to learn to use Web3 and cryptocurrency and DeFi, similar to how they just inherently know how to operate email now. Do you think that's how it's going to be, or that there's going to be more specific, dedicated education required, or that all of the stuff we're doing is going to be like, it's going to have to like get easier somehow?
It's definitely going to have to be easier.
Okay.
I mean,
so you don't
think
people are
raise
getting
the
level
better.
of literacy to now?
No,
yeah. Well, I mean,
back and get them.
Okay.
Look, Hexicans are at the cutting edge of DeFi technology. We understand DeFi technology, IPFS links, and how to get around being gate kept and all those things. But it's going to have to get easier for the layperson. We're going to have to make UI interfaces that people can click, do their KYC AML, click, and then take their bank account money and send it to their crypto account money, click. So I'm telling you, we need 3 clicks there, because, even I was talking about this the other day. My boomer mother was like, I ain't going on the internet. I ain't getting a cell phone. Forget Facebook, all that stuff, Well, now she's shopping on Amazon. She's posting on Facebook. She has all of her groups of friends all of her boomer friends that she's friends with, and she's utilizing it. And she's not afraid of Big Brother anymore. She was afraid of Big Brother. Like, oh, you're crazy getting into the, the crypto world and the technology world and all that stuff. And, but that's not what happened. Now she's utilizing these tools, because these tools are nothing new. There's nothing new under the sun, guys. These are just communication tools. Like when the phone came out, they thought it was the devil. Well, the telegram, and then the phone came out. They thought it was the devil, and the television was Satan, you know. But human beings learn to utilize these things in their lives, like they always have. Technology always just, you know, advances and finds its way into our lives. Crypto is going to do the same. Unfortunately, crypto has morphed and changed and done so much weird shit over the years that people are still afraid of it. And we've done a horrible job of bringing people into it. In fact, we've made it extremely difficult to get into. We've made it extremely scary to even want to be part of. So we've got to do a better job of showing people that, hey, this is nothing new. All it is a certificate of deposit. All it is better money. And then once we start teaching people that, they'll go, okay, but it's just tech. Yeah, you just got to learn how to push a few more buttons. That's it. That's all you got to do is push a few more buttons. And we're going to show you how to get your money out of the screwed up system that it's in and put it in a system where the people have control of it. And that's what we're really doing here, is giving the power back to the people by showing them how to use money that's better than the money out there. See, crypto is really, so you see what these PDI guys are doing, right? The Satropa stuff and all this PDI, they're trying to make it really happen. Like if that happens, if PDI pegs it, like it really happened, like, holy shit, we really did it, like organically did it, made money worth something organically. That's what crypto's trying to do, is make something outside of the money system organically happen. And it hasn't done so yet. It's being utilized as a speculation tool. It's being utilized as a meme. It's being utilized by younger people versus older people because they want it to be theirs. I don't know, but we've got to do a better job of the message.
Okay, to put this in a little more like context or analogy, one of the resounding opinions that I've gotten from the community thus far is that while something like Robinhood is very easy for people to get into, we don't like it because it's not real DeFi, and that's not what we're about. So, like, do you have an example of like a communications app or like some sort of like money transferring thing that you wish crypto was more like, whether it be like Venmo or sending money through Facebook or something? Like, how many clicks is the correct amount?
I mean, that's it. Like, that's taken off. Like my gardener, somebody over here. Zell it to me, Venmo it to me. Okay. Well, what's your email? What's your phone number? Boom, boom, boom. Oh yeah, that's you. Got it. Boom. Send it. Done. Wow. That works way better than crypto. Way better. So when are we going to get tools like that? And we quit doing all this crypto bro shit and, go to Etherscan and check your transaction and, oh shit, your money's gone. Oh fuck. This is, I mean, I understand that it's decentralization and it's us being accountable for our own shit, but let's face it, the TradFi, the real supposed world of cash works better than our shit. Works a lot better and more
exactly. That's it. That's how we need to connect.
Okay.
Once we connect them too, and then we introduce also easier way to on ramp, off ramp, because the tools are there. It's just nobody wants to pay to become a money transmitter.
Yep. Hey, we got a new Hexican coming in here. Or maybe not a Hexican, but we've got somebody coming in here. Richie finally got in, so let's bring Richie on. He wants to have a conversation with us. Yo, what's up, Richie? How's it going, bud?
How you doing, Captain? Nice to finally meet you.
Good to have you here.
Yeah, I loved seeing you in the documentary movie. That was fantastic.
Oh, thanks.
I took a gang of people to see that movie. We had a great time.
Yeah, appreciate your
support.
Yeah, appreciate it. Good.
So, I guess I'll start with my story. So, I found Hex late in the game. I learned about Richard Hart early 2023, late 2022, early 2023, and I decided to start building a Hex ladder. I put a challenge to my now 17-year-old son to put a few $100 a week into a Hex ladder, and stake it for a year. Like, we're going to buy this coin every week. We're going to stake it for a year. And next year we're going to have a decision to make every week. Either we can cash it in to buy something or do something what we want, or restake it for another year. And, hindsight's 2020 wasn't the greatest idea with the gas fees the way they are now. But I'll tell you this. There's nobody in this community that believes in eHex more than me. When I found this community, I went back and I watched probably 60 hours of Richard Hart streams. I watched other Hexicans streams. I learned about the community and I fell in love with the whole ambiance of it, right? Like the idea of being able to stake your coins and earn a yield, not in dollars, but in coins, was fantastic. The whole story, there's nothing out there in crypto, and I've been involved in crypto since 2017. So I'm still kind of a newbie. But let me tell you guys, like, I made millions back in 2017, 2018. I lost it all. I sucked at pulling profits. And so what Richard Hart taught me was to stay the course and not remove all emotion from, we're not traders anymore. I am not a trader. I'm a hodler. And I have my mission. I created my plan and I'm going to stand by it. And everything that's happened since then has all been golden and happened the way it should. I was early enough to sacrifice for PulseX. I did not get to sacrifice for PulseChain. I didn't know about it then. So when PulseChain first launched in May of last year, I sat at the computer and watched the ecosystem and people that I followed in the ecosystem just doing these crazy trades for, trading a million pulse for 40 million PulseX, and there was no values and people were just trading coins and I couldn't do shit. And I was like, oh my God, this is so awesome, but at the same time, I was like, I had my plan and I wouldn't have participated in that because traders get wrecked, right? Richard says,
I was gonna say you give it all right back. Like you can make a bunch of wins and then all of a sudden a rat BTC farm shows up at 2 a.m.
Listen, bro, he says it plain as day. At the end of every trade, there's a winner and a loser, right? So it's all a matter of strategy and who are you gonna sit. You want to sit in front of the computer and strategize against somebody you don't know on the other side of the world and try to beat him to win his money? Like, I was really happy. It was so much fun to see when the values started to come, to see people that were participating in the early liquidity pools, making thousands of incentive coins a day. And then Inc ran up to $80, and I was like, fuck yeah. I was telling my wife, oh my God, these people are making like $80,000 to $160,000 a freaking day right now. This is crazy. And she's like, well, what are we doing? And I'm like, I'm sticking to my plan, woman. I'm not going to get fucking wrecked. I have a plan, and my plan is flawless. My plan is bulletproof because I know what I know, because I learned, I got the education. I understand Richard's thinking, and I'm not going to waver. Because that's not my plan. That's somebody else's plan. Somebody else did that. Somebody else took the risk of impermanent loss and provided liquidity and made those gains. That's not in my wheelhouse. I have my plan. We each have our own path to our goal, right? And we need to hold that and covet that. And if we are truly believing in Richard and what he's said, this whole thing with eHex this week, on Tuesday was the first time that I actually, for a hot minute, wavered in my plan, because I kept buying EHEX after PulseChain launched. And my son did too. We kept buying it every freaking week. Buy it and stake it. Buy it and stake it. We were in a habit. We created a habit. And I love this fucking kid for that, because when we got wrecked Tuesday and Wednesday morning, I went and ran an errand, and I came home, and I was getting ready to leave to go to work. I run a uniform company here in Phoenix, Arizona, and he was leaving to school, and he came out of his room, and I said, "Did you see Hex this morning?" And he goes, "Yeah, I just bought another $500 worth." I'm like, "God damn it, I fucking love you, kid." You know, this kid's fucking buying the dip. He's 17, right?
Nice.
And we got all these other OG Hexicans talking about stacking T-shares just sold out on a whim over a tweet on Monday. And it blows my mind, because I listen to Richard, and I believe in him, and I believe that PulseChain was built to benefit Hex. And I believe it's like we see now the tweet that he did 6 or 7 months ago. Can you imagine a world where Pulse, EHEX, and PX are the top 3 market cap? And he gave them in that order, which means Richard himself envisions EHEX having a higher market cap than PX, right? So this kind of made me think about, like, Bored Ape, right? I got a buddy who made fucking literally hundreds of millions of dollars doing NFTs from like 2018 to 2022. The dude made retarded fucking money, right? And when I brought it to his attention that there was this fork coming, and he would have his Bored Apes along with other ETH riding NFT projects coming to this chain, he said to me, "That's a great money grab for me," because previously, when Ethereum forked and these Bored Apes were recreated and the copies were on other chains, he would make a quick buck because the value would go from 0 to up, and then he would cash out and trade and cash out and trade and make millions of dollars. But in the end, he ends up holding his Ethereum Bored Apes and the other NFTs, because, like the Mona Lisa, nobody wants the fucking copy, right? And that's what Richard Hart's telling us this week with his later posts. Ethereum forked, and Ethereum's still worth more money. Bitcoin forked, and Bitcoin is still the winner. Bitcoin is worth far more than Bitcoin Cash. So EHEX, in the end, I believe, is going to be worth more than PX, because people are going to want the original. The whales already fucking entered the market. We already boarded them.
State.
You guys did that work. You boarded the whales, and you brought in hundreds of fucking millions of dollars into EHEX. I wasn't here. You did that. And those guys are not going to fucking walk away from their money. You bet your ass they're going to, at some point, they're going to pump those bags and bring in the masses and use the masses as exit liquidity, or to just pump their bags. Either way, you know what's going to happen. EHEX is not dead. Richard has not abandoned this project, and I'm here to put that shit to rest, because nobody fucking sacrifices their firstborn, right?
Well, I don't think that was Richard's intentions.
It wasn't. I don't think it was
his
either.
intentions were to tell people what's better, and
It is better.
and he made it better. And
You're
that's
right,
what
but the
we've been
community, the community sacrificed the fucking coin.
I don't think it was the community. I think it was traders. I think that, before Big Payday, we had a bunch of people run to Hex, because look, this crypto space is full of the trader mentality. These guys, they smell blood, and they're like freaking sharks in a feeding frenzy. And they saw what Hex was doing. They saw how low it was, and they saw how high Hex goes. And they know what Richard's built. They know what he's done. And they saw it so low. And when Richard said that, they spooked, man. Just like sharks in a feeding frenzy. You drop something in there, it spooks them, boom, they just run off, And that's what they did. They ran off, and they, that's what traders do. They like to prey on, the weak. They like to prey on, mad gains quick. And when Richard did that, it spooked him.
Right. And so I think, again, this is all part, like going back to my belief in Richard, right? This is all part of his plan, because we all know we're in a 50-week shakeout of the weak hands and the non-believers, right?
6 more weeks.
I mean, that's unanimous. We're like six more weeks out from that 50-week mark. And Richard did that tweet strategically days before Ethereum comes out with a new fork to alleviate gas fees, which I don't think that it necessarily did 100% or not yet, but neither here nor there. He did it strategically to get those weak hands out, and it worked. And what we have here is all the whales remain. And there's a number of whales that are holding EHEX that can move the market at a whim. And I believe that this was the greatest buying opportunity in the Hex since I've been involved with Hex on the EHEX side. And we're still in the end, at the end of this cycle, EHEX, Pulse, and PulseX are going to melt faces. And obviously, I think I think we would all agree that Inc is going to hit $1,000 in this cycle without hesitation. And if EHEX melts faces, then PX will too. So you can't lose anywhere in this system. And what baffles me is to see the leaders in this community that have been here longer than me changing their tune and actually showing some form of weakness, even in, okay, so 6 weeks ago, a lot of people in this community, a lot of the leaders in this community were like, let's hi Weston, like let's give our thoughts on what these coins can run to. These tokens will be worth this cycle. And I saw a lot of people calling for $2 to $7 hex, right? And being that P hex would be more valuable than that. I saw PulseX being 10 cents and Pulse being 38, up to 38 cents. That was before the super cycle entered the picture, right? So Bitcoin pops a new all-time high, and we officially enter a super cycle. And those same people that were saying, $2 to $7 hex are now saying $15 to $25 EHEX, right? And then weeks later, they're crushed. How do you change? The market didn't change. One tweet happened and a bunch of weekends exited a coin. That doesn't change what the immutable, it doesn't change the fact that the immutable code is flawless. It doesn't change our yield. Our yield for those of us who are staked increased because of all the EES that happened. And we're still here. It's still the same project. It's still the same code. So we're still going to win the same, right? Theoretically, that's where we're at. And I don't understand how the community could lose faith and feel like anybody they onboarded after PulseChain launched and they onboarded into EHEX is suddenly fucking wrecked. No, they're not. Wait it out. Let the market play out. Don't tell people they're wrecked when they're not. Tell them to fucking buy right now.
Well, and that was the problem with, some of the OGs out there doing the happy dance on people saying, I told you UEX was dead and
Right.
Richard wants PHEX. That was a problem. And that didn't help matters any. But again, that's just knee-jerk reaction stuff. That's reactionary emotional stuff that moves the charts. And this space is real easy to do that.
Right. And I get that. But I mean, what I don't get is somebody who understands Richard and how he thinks and has followed him for years is not going to believe that EHEX, this is not the death of EHEX, and we will still hit new all-time highs on this cycle. Like, how could anybody, if anybody out there who's a Richard Hart Maxey is going to say that EHEX will not hit a new all-time high this cycle, is fucking insane in my mind. They're insane. Because we have to hit a new all-time high. You think Richard is going to freaking let Pulse and PulseX run 10,000X? You think either Pulse or PulseX can run 10 to 14,000X without EHEX hitting a new all-time high? Fuck no.
I don't
He's
think
gonna
so.
make sure.
It's possible it doesn't. I mean, there's all kinds of shit that could happen. This is crypto.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, we're pegged to Pulse, so we're gonna go wherever Pulse goes.
I'm telling you guys, he will not let EHEX die. And he will. Look, we haven't seen the magic carpet ride. Everybody's talked about it, and we're all here with no expectations, right? Fuck the expectations. Richard Hart never touched $1 of stack money until recently. He never moved shit. He never touched the OA wallet for Hex. Right? Right or right? Never
Up to
touched
recently.
it. And while he's under scrutiny by the SEC and getting his ass handed to him, and we all know he's handing the ass to the SEC. Those bitches are getting their asses handed to them. Richard knows it. We all know it. Hex is not a security. PulseChain, PulseX, nothing that Richard has created is a security, and he has that zero risk of losing this case. I believe something happened in the last few weeks with that case that the SEC, now Richard knows the SEC realizes they don't have shit on him. He made a deal or he knows he's going to win, and he decided to start moving some money in front of everybody's faces because he is not scared anymore. Everybody says, why didn't he buy Ethereum in January? Why didn't he buy the bottom? Richard's so good at calling the bottom and the top. Why is he moving the money now? I'm telling you, I think it's because he knows he's got the SEC beat, and he no longer has any fear at all about any repercussions, and he's about to send us on the magic carpet ride. He hasn't done it yet. He may have dabbled and done little purchases here and there and created these little green candles, but I think the people that are talking about him making moves and then moving billions across the bridge to push 120x in a flash, I think that shit's real.
Well, okay, so a couple of things to unpack there with what you just said. So I think you're right. With his movements currently, it does seem like he knows something about the SEC case. And it does seem as though possibly it's just slam dunk.
Same with the Ethereum ETF. He learned something about that, which shifted his transition to go, fuck it, I'm going all in on Ethereum.
Yep. And so now he's also staking it. He's trying to gain as much Ethereum as possible.
Right.
So then there's, when you're talking about billions coming across the bridge and all that, what you're talking about is the ETH, correct?
Yes.
Yes. And so there's a theory out there where there's going to be a very quick doubling of ETH right now. It's going to like jump up to $8,000. I mean, sure, possibly. However, what you need to understand about these large institutions is that they have a lot of money, and they're going with what works. If you watch the Bitcoin ETFs, it worked. So if you copy and paste over to the Ethereum ETFs, it's going to work the exact same way.
Right.
As soon as and you know how that works. So it was January that the Bitcoin ETFs came out, right?
And
So
they've been accumulating 7,168 Bitcoin per day on average.
Yeah. And the thing is, they've been ramping it up too. Okay.
Right.
So now where
Which
you
will
want
only
to look,
scale. It'll only scale. And that's just the first ETF, by the way.
yeah. And so I think it was about 3 months in until they really started ramping it up though. Okay.
Right.
So if you're going to go ahead and look at that, let's say which it's looking like maybe they won't actually
What do you got
approve
there?
them. End of May.
Sugar cubes over there?
Stamp. I'm packing an envelope right now. I've got one order. Come on, guys, give me more orders.
Nice.
Lovely.
Wait,
Very
what
nice.
do you need an order for? What am I buying?
I'm sending them out. Give me addresses. I'm packing envelopes full of marketing material. Free,
okay.
absolutely free. Mailhex.xyz, both on Twitter and website, and then also EcoBuilder on Twitter.
So one thing though that I know, so Richard Hart is really good at advertising, right? And so he's a good marketer. And so if we get a dip in the altcoins, right, in Ethereum, really big, and maybe it bleeds for a little while, what do you think he's going to do? Pump the crap out of everything, right?
Right.
Okay.
That's why I'll make this move. He'll create green candles to bring in the masses.
Yes.
It's all going to be like you and I can't imagine what his strategy truly is and what his timing is going to be like, which is exactly why everybody doesn't understand his timing on why he started to buy ETH with those SAC funds, right? And why he never touched the OG Hex wallet. Like,
yeah.
you know,
So when you're looking at this though, let's go ahead and just kind of throw some stuff out there, okay? So there's an others dominance chart, and we are going to be doing a show with Access and Twinkie come the end of this month about it, but I'll give you a little sneak peek into it, right? So basically for the past 3 cycles, this has perfectly called the tops of altcoins, but it's also just before an extremely parabolic move, it dumps really hardcore. So this is kind of where Bitcoin rises. Whereas the warm up alt season, which we're currently in right now, and probably be heading out of here pretty soon, but that's where as Bitcoin kind of dumps a little bit, then everybody will be sending their alts back into Bitcoin, and then that is where the alts dip, and then Bitcoin rises. Okay.
okay.
And you can, and it's pretty easy to kind of watch it on the charts. So what I think is going to happen, and it has been changing a little bit because the ETFs are very powerful, and it kind of almost seems like it's just going to be a constant up and away. And possibly it seems like Richard has kind of noticed this, so he's just like, oh, I'm just going to pump the crap out of it and be one of the winners of pumping. That's very real as well. But the other thing, the other way that it can go though, is that upon the ETF launch, that's when things dump, and it'll continue to bleed for about maybe like 2 months until starts going back up again. And that's also when it would be best for Richard to really start pumping the RH coins. So just something to watch out for. Keep a close eye out right around the end of May and June. And that's where I've got a couple of bets going right now. We're keeping close tabs on it, but this is where you want to keep an eye on the market, guys. Okay. Always keep an eye on the market. Don't get complacent. All right. We're going to be making money.
I want to add on to that real quick, guys, is that we don't know what Richard Hart is going to do. One of the things that I would like to personally say is that every time I've tried to guess what I think Richard Hart is going to do, I've got it completely backwards wrong. And so
we all have.
These are all good stories, and they're all like things that make sense. But like, remember, these are campfire stories, right?
They're
it
dangerous.
Sounds good. It's a good it's like it gets the dopamine flowing, and it gets us like believing in stuff. And if that's what you need, then so be it. But just realize that like he is an independent person, and whenever you venture into the realm of trying to guess what other people are doing inside their head, or trying to guess the reasons of what's going on, or anything of that nature, just understand that like more likely than not, we are bound to be wrong in many respects. So the best thing that you can do is look at people's like look at the history of what they do. Don't listen to the words. That's one of the things that Michael Sartain says a lot. If you guys are familiar with the Men of Action program, we don't listen to the words, we observe the actions. So that being said, like be careful of the stories that you tell yourselves, both for the folks at home and for the people on the panel, and just for anyone listening, like especially when it comes to guessing what other people are going to do based on like our inferences and things. Think about how many times you've like anticipated having a phone call with someone, and you're going through your head like, oh my God, they're going to say this, and then I'm going to do that, and blah, blah, blah. And then you call them up and it just like shoots off in a totally different direction. And that's just a fucking phone call for someone that you probably like have a pretty reasonable idea of like who they are as a person. Like all that we know of Richard is like what we see on stream and what we hear him say, and things of that nature. So just I would caution the folks at home and everybody, just be careful when you're coming up with plans to take action based on things that other people are saying and other people are doing. And that's all that I have on that. But these are fantastic analysis.
100.
Just to kind of catch on to that, right? What you want, or tag onto that, what you want to do is, because you do still need a plan, right? However, what I've argued with people is you don't have a plan. You have multiple plans that can go either direction, up or down, right? Based on the information coming out, and take multiple sources. If you listen to one person, you might not want to do exactly as Will does there, right? However, what you want to be doing is taking as much data as possible, throwing them together, and then making multiple different plans. Hey, go this direction, I'm going to act like this. If it goes this direction, I'm going to act like this. That is what's vitally important.
For all the military folks out there, it's the PACE method, right? We got primary, alternate, contingent, emergent. There you go.
So all these conversations about what Richard may or may not do are very dangerous, in my opinion.
I agree.
Yes.
I think
Should
that
get
and
away
I've
from
seen the
that.
community do it from the beginning. I've watched them do it from the
I try
beginning.
not to touch it.
And usually they got screwed over because they said this about Richard, that about Richard, and that's not what happened.
Right.
He's made some awesome products in a marketplace that we all believe in and that we think can fix money in the world. So my plan for me was to get involved and try and teach people how to utilize these tools to help themselves. I could care less what Richard does. The only thing that I've ever really done was put this movie together so that Richard can be showcased in it.
And you're a fucking rock star from that, amongst other things.
Thank you. So that's my relationship and my expectations of Richard. He did that. I appreciated him for doing that, and that was cool. And now we have a tool out there that people can see what this community is, how it was built, where it came from, whether or not it was good or bad, nobody knows yet. But my plan, and this has absolutely nothing to do with Richard, because Richard doesn't run me or what I do or how I'm doing it. I've taken the tools that he's given to us immutably, meaning that all of us can do whatever we want with these things. Buy them, not buy them, sell them, not sell them, take them to show people. I created the PulseChain tour. I still do this, run this channel so that I can go out and try and help people get into DeFi. I have a vision for what I'm going to do. I want to fill up stadiums with people wanting to show the world DeFi so that we can have a revolution and fix the money in the world, because Richard gave us those tools. Be damned to whatever else he does. I don't care if he floods it down to whatever. I believe in these tools, that he made us tools that we can use and go utilize. So thank you, Richard. I'm going to run with it. And I think that that's what we should all be doing versus sitting around worrying and waiting for Richard to go and do something or speculate on what Richard could do. If we go out and do all the right things, we could do much more than Richard. We could do much more. Because
Richard's
all he has is a fraction of the money in crypto. That's all he has. He's got a lot of money, But the world, there's trillions and trillions of dollars out there waiting that would love to get into this space. If we were to go out and show them what true DeFi is and what they could do with their value out there by bringing it into here, man, we would have nothing to worry about. The smallest shrimp would be multimillionaires if we could bring 30% of the world into crypto. And we have the tools to do so. When are we going to start wising up and being smart about it and go and do that? That's what people need to work. Everybody's short-term thinking about what their bag's going to do, about what Richard's going to do, about how this new bull market is going to free. And I get it, guys. Look, nobody wanted to retire more than me. I had no freaking spine left. I fucking worked some of you motherfuckers ain't been working long enough. I worked my ass off my life away. I work 14, 16-hour days, 6, 7 days a week. Fuck you guys. You youngsters out there ain't fucking put a whole hard day's work in yet. No, nobody wanted to get free more than me. But I know and I realize what is really going on here. Yes, I got free. Hey, you know what? But that was an anomaly. You know, these anomalies happen. But if we were to go out there and bring real money into this space, everybody here could be free. So that's what we have to do. That's what this community has to do, is go out and bring people in. And that means stop at all the stupid shit. Stop memeing each other. Stop fighting each other. Join. Get behind one another. Start pushing this thing forward. You know, Zenith came out and supported all the PulseChain tour and hung out with us, and we got to know each other more. And you know, so now the communities are coming together. I mean, wasn't that an awesome experience? I mean, we actually got to, you know, meet with each other and learn about each other and trust one another more. And that's what builds community, guys, is us all getting together and doing this thing together.
I have no doubt that the PulseChain tour is going to fill stadiums. And I'll tell you this much. If for everybody that went to the PulseChain tour this year or saw it, it was phenomenal. And everybody was partying and hanging out together the entire time. The very first day we were at Topgolf, and the staff that was working there had to like tell us 3 or 4 times to get out because we just kept hanging out and talking to each other. They seriously were just like, seriously, we need the space. Get the hell out. And we're just like, yeah, whatever. I'll finish this up real quick. But I'll tell you this, we'll fill stadiums. And if you want to come to Vegas next year, it's going to be even crazier, I imagine. So,
yep, we're already announced it. We're going to do 369 March 6th to the 9th next year, and it's going to be a regular thing. We're always going to have the Vegas event, and you know, of course, right now the world tour is going on for PulseChain Tour, so PulseChainTour.com. And in just a couple of weeks, we're going to be in Utah, guys. And then we're going to Canada. So we're getting Vancouver all set up. We're going to go to Vancouver, Canada. And it's building community, and people are putting in hard work with everything that everybody's putting into it. All the OGs and the people that are, you know, spitting out the facts of what Hex and Pulse are showing up, and it's a really good experience. If you got new onboards, that's the place to go. You know, at least give them confidence in what they're doing in their onboarding process, as hard or scary as it is. Let them know that it's worth it. It's valuable, that they can trust what we're doing here.
See, now, Captain, what you just said just now was absolutely inspirational to the entire community. And that's why I was beating down your door to let me come in, because this is exactly what's needed in our community right now. We need to unify as a front. Listen, what we speculate what Richard Hart will do, you're right, is irrelevant, because we need to do it ourselves. But he is more likely to create a magic carpet ride now that PulseChain is launched, right? So he's going to do what he's going to do. He's got his own plan. We need to ignore Richard, other than the fact that all of his coins will win, okay? Everything has the potential of 10,000xing this cycle. Yeah. All 5 of his coins have the same potential. Pulse and PulseX have a 14,000x potential, according to Rich. Okay? That's not me. That's Richard Hart himself. Now, what we need as a community is to create, we have to unify on one front. Listen, if I have a friend that wants to onboard the PulseChain and buy Pulse or PulseX, I can go on to Twitter and ask, what's the best way? What's the most efficient way? because I've been using dry powder for the last year and a half, and I've been doing EHEX only. Only recently, in recent weeks, literally, have I put dry powder into PulseChain. And I've done it 3 different ways now. And it's not easy. So we need, as a community, and I actually did a search. The domain DeFi for Dummies is available. DeFiForDummies.com. Give me a fucking break. It's available right now for next to nothing.
Not now. Somebody's got it now.
Right. Get it, guys. Get it. Build this shit out. DeFiForDummies.com, and let's teach people step by step. If you want to use change.io, here's how you do it. You want to buy with Coinbase and buy Ethereum and come across the bridge, here's how you do it. Let's spell this shit out in plain English, and then every influencer, when they're asked, how do I buy Pulse or PulseX, they're given the same information. Like, it's so goddamn complicated.
Yeah. And we tried it. We tried it in the voice chat and PulseChain into all through 2021. It worked. I mean, it clicked. We used to joke. We used to call it 1-800 blockchain. And it was like 24 hours, like whenever Ty and the Australian guys would show up, and then when Papa would show up, and then it was just like that. We had like it was almost, I mean, I ran it like I used to ran like a call center. Like I used to have like people that I would say, all right, when these guys show up, these are the updates, just give it to them. And then that's how it would work. Almost like we had a queue of calls coming in all the time, and we knew all the answers and then all the troubleshooting. So
that's what we should have call centers. Hey, hold on 1 second, ID. Not to cut you off. I got to say thanks to John Wick. John Wick, my good friend.
There you go.
Dropped a $4.99.99 on the super chat. Cheers, everyone. Happy Friday. SAC funds moving like this is encouraging for the SEC case. Clearly. And you got don't give up mode on Twitter too. Also, bridge fees are now 0.3% to ETH. The SAC movements are now 100% transparent and telegraphed. A signal of sorts. Slowly bridging into Pulse creates excitement, FOMO, and front running. Going to be an exciting bull run. It's already getting real exciting. Thanks again, John Wick. Appreciate you, man, for supporting us. Always been part of the channel, part of the Cutthroats and everything. The OTC trades I've been watching, I was calling it before Bitcoin ran. The OTC trades are off the charts, guys. Something's going on. And boom, Bitcoin runs to 73K. Guess what's happening right now? Ethereum freaking OTC trades are off the chain for the last 2 weeks. Off the chain. Like today, I think it was 300 million in OTC trades in Ethereum. That wasn't happening, guys. That was not happening. It wasn't. Now it's in proportion to the Bitcoin trades, because Bitcoin was running at 2-3 billion a day. And now we're talking hundreds of millions of Ethereum moving. And it's funny. Every time I see an Ethereum move, it's like $30 million 0.55, 32 million 0.55, 33 million point whatever. And I just keep seeing this $30 million worth of Ethereum moving in OTC trades over and over and over again on the dailies over the last couple of weeks. I think Ethereum is getting ready for a big pump. I think that, people that have a lot of it know that and know what they're going to do with it. And so those are things to watch. Now, see, we don't have to sit here and say Richard could or would do this. We can just look at the macro picture and look at, the systems that he built, go do our thing and wait and see what happens. Because in the bull run, everything moves. Everything moves. EHEX is going to move. It's going to move. That little dip obviously wasn't big whales pulling out. It obviously wasn't the fact that it died somehow. And now it's another bargain. It's sitting there at another bargain. So I don't know, man. I would if I was a trader, I'd be trading that right now. And of course I'm not, but that's where I'd be trading.
Hey, Cap, question for you. For the folks at home, what are the OTC trades?
So
what does that mean?
So an OTC trade is an over-the-counter trade, and I probably should explain that more often. So I use a little tool called what the heck's the name of that tool? All I see is the alerts all the time. I use a tool personally called CoinGlass, and it's just an app, and you can see the big movements in wallets in crypto, and you can set it to see which wallets are moving. And I get alerts that show me all day long when a big, whale moves some crypto. Now, people just don't move hundreds of millions of dollars worth of crypto to move hundreds of millions of dollars worth of crypto. There's reasons for it. They don't just say, hey, I'm going to send you $30 million in Ethereum, buddy. Yeah. And he sent it from his basement to another guy's basement. No, $30 million moves. There's lawyers involved. There's entities involved. That money is moving for a reason. Somebody bought a big amount of Ethereum behind the scenes, or they're positioning it somewhere. It's just a couple of things it could be. People just won't freaking risk moving that kind of money for no reason. That's getting moved for a reason. And to see that it was doing absolutely nothing 8 months ago, and then just about 4, 5, 6 months ago, we started seeing Bitcoin moving as the ETF was being approved and whatnot. Then that shows you that there's big moves going on in the background with the big old wallets, and they're positioning for something. So Bitcoin was moving a lot, and then boom, and over OTC means over the counter. That means somebody in a back room. So if you buy on the market, if you buy or sell on the market, it moves the price one direction or the other because of the order books and liquidity and whatnot. So if somebody was to go and buy $3 billion, like I saw one day, $3 billion moved in Bitcoin. You can't do that on the market. You will wreck yourself into oblivion trying to buy that kind. So some old Bitcoin OG, and believe me, they all know who has the bags and who wants to sell the bags. And I've been involved in deals with OTC trades where people wanted to fly out and meet and have millions of dollars in an airplane and all kind of stuff to buy, coins. And that's what they do. They say, hey, to keep this off the market, we will transfer this dollar out to you. You transfer us this amount of crypto. And that's how it's done. Does not affect the market. Now, how it does affect the market is that assholes like me are watching it, telling everybody, hey, there's OTC shades going on. You guys should know this. We're positioning to either, corner the market, wreck you or something. So get yourself ready, get yourself prepared because the move's on. They believe in something. Somebody who's buying this stuff believes in something. And somebody who's selling it is getting a lot of financial value. Now, what are they going to do? What are old Bitcoin wallets going to do? Well, those guys know that there's multiple X's in the Ethereum network. Those guys know that there's multiple. They're not going to make multiple X's on their Bitcoin anymore. Those days are over for them. What are they going to get? 2, 3 X's on their Bitcoin? When if they sold maybe a couple 100 million of it, they can go and get 10, 15, 20 X on Ethereum, or they can go and degen into the ERC20 space and make a 20, 30, 40, 100 X on their money. That's what these guys are doing. These old wallets are doing. They're moving money around. We see it all the time. That's why Bitcoin moves, Ethereum moves, the altcoins move. Oh, the high clockwork never changes. It always does the same thing. Not always exactly, but it definitely rhymes. So that's what's happening. That's what OTC trades are. It's over the counter. People trying to not affect the market until people start seeing it.
Like it. Thank you.
This is a good rant. I always thought it should be called under the table instead of over the counter. I think that over the counter is kind of, well, I mean, it's all on chain. So like,
I think Will's right.
You can see a lot of it, but like if I were to like walk around with like a Trezor or something, this is a comb, by the way, not a Trezor. But like if I were to walk around with a Trezor, be like, hey, I've got this, wallet full of Bitcoins, and then I hand it to someone, they give me a big fat stack of cash or something. That'd be more of like what I would consider like the true sneaky way to exchange a Bitcoin. But when they're like sending it from wallet to wallet, it's like, hey, you guys can watch out. And That's why it's good that we got folks like RG3 out here letting us know when the folks are doing it. What was the name of the service that you said? Glass Node?
No, Coin Glass.
Coin Glass. Okay.
Yeah, it's just
Manny
an
out there
app,
has-
and you can monitor. Now, there's in the days during the bear market, I would see big trades, and usually those big trades could be associated with the mining pools. So you'd see they'd collect it and boom and trade it and back behind the scenes kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So that was really a non, that wasn't that wasn't a tell. That wasn't anything that brought up any flags. But when you start seeing these other wallets or unknown wallet, and if you go and you look at it, it's a brand new wallet, like just was created a few weeks ago,
Yep.
had nothing in it. Now all of a sudden it's got $100 million worth of Bitcoin in it. It's like, okay, this is something different going on here versus the mining pools selling, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, there's definitely something going on. There's definitely Ethereum's on the rise right now. And that tells me that more than likely Ethereum's going to pump and then altcoins are going to start pumping after that. But who knows? This is a weird cycle where we hit all-time. I mean, nobody's really talking about, Bitcoin's at all-time highs right now. Freaking all-time highs before the halvening.
That wasn't
crazy.
supposed to happen.
It wasn't supposed to happen. But
Like
you look at the OTC trades and you go, wait a minute, somebody knows something. They're getting impatient. They want in this thing now.
Well, it's
Yeah,
not just
that's
the
the big
OTC
thing.
stuff, but we've been following the ETF news for a while. I looked it up just to make sure I'm right on this one. But the Bitcoin ETFs right now total $54 billion. That is that's no small pocket of change. That's a lot. But
it's monstrous. That's huge.
It's absolutely monstrous. And then another number I like to point out to people is that we now have cryptocurrency ETFs entering the market. The total 401k supply in the United States is $37 trillion. So even just like 1% of that is $370 billion. So 54 billion of not OTC trades move the market to pretty much a 2 or almost a 3x. Then just imagine what the rest of like even 1% of 401ks has the ability to do.
Yeah, and that's actually what these financial advisors are actually advising to do as of currently. Are all the institutions getting in yet? Not quite. Some of them are still a little bit like maybe, maybe not. But I mean, it's happening, man.
Yeah,
I think the CD market.
Sorry, go for it, Cap.
Oh, I think the CD market is like a $7 trillion market.
Oh,
is
yeah.
that right?
Sounds
ID?
about right.
Just imagine that ripped off market with people making 2% gains on their money or less. If they could see this, like that's the market to go for. That's the global market to hit.
That's what we need to do. So we need to keep doing that. We need to go for that tokenization of real world asset. If we can keep giving them options for them to get into crypto, and not just say, all right, we'll only go in through BlackRock and Larry Fink, then we can get a cut of that $10 trillion market. It's going to be supposedly between 5 and 10 trillion just on the tokenization of real world asset coming into crypto by 2030. So like 6 years. So some of us were trying like that. That's the way I did it. Like I took it instead of just selling my stock in the real world, I tokenized it. And then it's now in PulseChain, and then it's attached to Pulse. So if Pulse goes up, the price of my digital token goes up, and then my stock goes down. It's almost like the valuation of the company is attached to PulseChain. So we'll see how that's going to work in the bull market, of course. In the bear market, it will suck because it'll be almost like when remember that when Weiss lock up all their liquidity to Ethereum. Well, I would lock it to. Well, I mean, it's locked now. So far it's good because I did it early when the price of Pulse was low, and then I did a set amount of Pulse units, and then. I mean, if more and more people learn how to do this, more like mom and pop shops get their LLCs into PulseChain the way I did it, they'll be able to do it too, especially if they're really good at at their business model, so they can, they can say, hey, I spend this much in my employees, this much in my business, this much in electricity, and this is my profits. And you put all that in the blockchain, and then, because it's just, some of us were just not going to have the opportunity to launch an IPO on Wall Street. And then this idea, I had it actually to do it in Ethereum like 4 or 5 years ago, but it was this company called Polymath, and it was just too expensive. In Ethereum, you just couldn't do it because they were talking back then like 200,000. Maybe now it's probably cheaper. But yeah, still for what I wanted to do, and then PulseChain, I pretty much just did it for a couple of bucks. So it's yeah.
ID, you got a good point there about the bond market, which is that in my mind, when we talk about that, when you talk about trying to onboard people into Hex, that sounds like a target market for me. I got to give a massive shout out to Axis on this. He gave a fantastic presentation at the PulseChain tour in Vegas, talking about passive income streams on Pulse. But he had this one slide where he talked about what does a healthy versus unhealthy bond market look like, and then he put it side by side next to the Hex staking chart. He says, look, our curve right now looks more like the unhealthy bond curve with all these stakes coming out early. We want to incentivize all those late stakes so that way they can really appreciate that longer pays better bonus. It's like all these things that we have, it seems like they're tuned to really speak to people that do bond investment. So I don't see why that's not a market that we can't tap into. And those are the people that we can onboard that are not currently in crypto.
Right.
See, the thing too, though, with bonds is bonds have like, first off, that's a $51 trillion market. So there's a hell of a lot of money we could take from there.
Let's get at least 1%. Just
man, that'd be awesome. But the problem that we're going to run into every single time with this kind of talk is, what about the safety? Remember, these people are in bond markets specifically for safety. There's a lot of money there. So how do you make it as safe and friendly as possible with, right, RG, just one click, right? Something as easy as that.
And these products can be built now because PulseChain is here. We can build more products. Hex is not the end all be all. It's a great asset. And I'd like to address it by talking to this person right here, Mr. Pot of Gold, who's talking about his asset, Bitcoin. Your Bitcoin, if it was made today, would be laughed out of the crypto space because of its tech, because of how it functions and operates and what its use case is. Just because it was first and just because the little small percentage of people that are in crypto are invested in it doesn't mean that it's worth a shit. It's an inferior product to everything else that's out there in crypto. There are meme coins that are better than Bitcoin. There are. And when we talk about an asset like Bitcoin, it's gone the way of gold. They tried to make it, an electronic cash system, but it failed to do so. It is not, cannot, will not ever be. Now, is it as good as gold? Sure. But look at where gold's gone. Look what gold has done. Go look at the gold chart. See where it's at. That's what you're going to end up with your Bitcoin. And yes, X's is where it's at, especially in a young emerging market like this with technologies that are coming out. You want to get in front of the curve. You want to be involved in this. This is where people are going to get wealthy. Biggest transference of wealth ever seen. Of course, you want to get in it. Trying to sit in an asset that doesn't have a future is not the way to go. So I'm sorry, but as far as I'm concerned, Bitcoin is out. It's not going to help anybody. Now, Hex you can use. You don't have to just hold it and not sell it. The last thing he said there was don't sell it. That's what all Bitcoiners say. Buy it and don't sell it and get yourself a percentage gain over the next few years and don't sell it. Well, what the fuck is that supposed to mean? You're supposed to be able to trade your assets in. Now, if you can take an asset that's going up in value, real world, and a yield tool, a CD, and put those two together, that's never been done before. But you have it in crypto. You have it here with Hex. This is a unique product that was built because of crypto. And it blows away every other investment tool out there. You've taken two different asset classes, bonded them together, and turned them into a tool. My staking ladder is a perpetual staking ladder. My staking ladder, and I have them on both chains, come out and I reinvest in it, and it continues to pay me dividends over and over and over again. And it's been sitting there maturing now for the last 4 years and rolling over and over and over. And if I want, I could take value out of that. It's a tool that the world hasn't seen, and I'm looking at it and watching it function and going, man, this Bitcoin doesn't do that. It doesn't have the functionality that Hex has. So, yeah, go show that stuff somewhere else, my friend. People around here are a little smarter than that.
Sounds weird to say, but the technology that exists today is the worst technology that will ever exist in the future. It's like it's only up from here.
So
By the way,
true.
Paul Sachs in the chat has a really good comment when it comes to your Bitcoin will get laughed out. Oh, go for it, Will.
No. So I thought you were going to talk about him
I'll
like
do it.
comparing.
Yeah. So
Bitcoin
Paul
to, like,
Sachs says when you
Windows
say
95.
that. Yeah, when you say Bitcoin will get laughed out of the room today, Paul Sachs says Bitcoin is something like being a Windows 95 maxi in today's day and age.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it works, sure. I don't know what to tell you.
Functional.
So when I came
Nico,
into
what you got?
crypto,
Go ahead. Igor.
so my background's in architecture, so it brought me around computers. So I was ready and available to learn more in computers. When I was forced to look at Bitcoin, it was whenever it surprised me by reaching 20K. And so I went to an ATM to go get some Bitcoin. And then I transferred that Bitcoin into a Binance account and started looking at all these other coins. Friends told me about this other number 2 coin that was Ethereum. And I looked at everything and I was just like, I don't want to be active day to day. I just want to put my money somewhere and watch it grow. So eventually, I was actually painting I had a canvas on this wall right here, and I was doing a painting as a commission for somebody. It was Christmas time, so it was for his family. And Richard didn't have reach on YouTube or something like that. So I was on Facebook, as weird as it is. I was looking at crypto videos on Facebook, and Richard comes on with the candlelight and says Bitcoin's dead. And that was something that no one else was saying. So
Nobody.
with what I've gone through in my life is whenever somebody tells you something that completely differs, go ahead and take that information, put it on the shelf, and see, how much that rings true. And so Richard eventually said that he was going to produce something that I was going to be able to earn on passively. And that really appealed to me. So I waited for that to come out. It eventually came out, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever it was. And here we are now. So I wish it was that Richie was still on the screen so that I could ask him, what is your peace of mind whenever it is that you're buying eHex and you've already got your PHEX and you're keeping all of it staked through all of these ups and downs, so that we can go from Windows, what is it now, 10 to Windows, 2025, and how is everything going to be later on? Because I would love to understand if he feels fortitude with the interest that he's been earning. Like, is he down in Hex tokens? Because we all have conviction that Hex is going to be more expensive in the future. And that's what attracted me and so many of the other Hexicans in.
Even if Hex isn't, moving multiple X's, tens of thousands of X's, by utilizing it properly, you're making more Hex. And if we go out and get adoption, if we go out and bring people to it and people start utilizing it, it's going to go up in price anyway, whether whales buy it or not. It's going to go up in price, people utilizing it. And those gains alone, if you put a 10-year stake out and you make all of your Hex from your stake off of it, you're going to be way in the plus, way in the positive. And I mean, that's why I try and take people away from this whale narrative, of this narrative of somebody coming in and pumping the price. Let's just let's just have an even keel, slow and steady run up. Let's just bring adoption. Let's just get people utilizing these tools, teach them how to do it, knock down the barrier to entry, make it easy for folks to come in, and it will pump. It will go up, and you will all be the better for it, for making those big, long stakes. The long stakes are where it's at. And I get criticized for this now. When we were geniuses when we were telling everybody to stake 10 and 15 years in the beginning. Right? Oh man, they're like, RG, woo, holding me up because we were teaching people how to stake 555 and then now I'm dumping on your heads. RG got you to stake for 15 years so he could dump on your heads. That's bullshit. I still believe, and I'm still convicted to what we started here. I learned what Hex was. This channel here uncovered it with guys like ID. We opened this onion up, unpeeled it. We watched guys like Eco go out and do things that nobody else was doing, going out and reaching out to other communities. We believed in this. We were the ones that were convicted of this. Richard didn't give us any handouts or praise us for what we were doing. He used to show up on this channel every once in a while and sit down with us and talk and tell us how much he appreciated the community and give us a little bit of knowledge about crypto and trading and liquidity and all those, teaching us some of the things that he knew, showing us who he was and what he was going out to do. That's why we all got convicted and wanted to be part of the system and go do our thing, was because Richard taught us better. See, Richard understood real world finance and crypto finance and what can be done. There isn't anybody out there with the maturity level that Richard has in these market spaces in all of crypto. Everybody used to tell me, oh, this guy's much smarter than Richard. Oh, and this guy's much smarter than Richard. He really knows what's going on. And oh, you should listen to this dude. He's on the same level as Richard. Well, guess what? Those motherfuckers are all in orange jumpsuits now. Not Richard. Not Richard. So we were the ones that were convicted. And I'm not in an orange jumpsuit.
Man, until the summer of 21, he was showing up in the voice chat, so we could every so often we could ask him like questions directly into the voice chat. That was good learning experience.
Yeah. And here we all sit. And none of us, if you would have, I know to some of you that are new and may see what's going on and go, oh, those motherfuckers have been lying to us. No, man, we're just going through the cycle like you are. Yeah. I'm still just as convicted. I still believe what Richard has done as much today as he's done in the past. Do I know what he's doing? No. Does all of his decisions jive with mine and what I got going on? No. But that's my problem, not his, and not this space, and not, the products that he's built. Richard has always said that delayed gratification is the way. And for anybody who's making knee-jerk reactions and talking crap about what's going on right now, you're horribly mistaken. And if you did make a move and you felt wrecked and you got wrecked, oof, I feel sorry for you. You shouldn't have done that.
Well, if you felt wrecked, it's because you're making a knee-jerk reaction. That's the entire point. If you would have just going through here right now, Tam literally has a chart up that somebody posted that says, oh no, EHEX has actually gone way up. Oh, really? Man, if only you didn't panic and sell.
Yeah. So what happens when Richard goes out and says, oh, damn, the market spoke. EHEX isn't so bad after all, even with those ridiculously high prices. Wow, I made a product that's good no matter what.
Who would have thought?
What if he said something like that? Oh, shit, EHEX go fucking to the moon, right? But I'm just saying what he could possibly say. That's the truth.
No, arbitrage opportunities.
That's the truth.
Oh man.
I made it. My product's the same on both chains. It's just the chain that's wrecked.
Right. Because I mean, like technically you can still get EHEX at arbitrage on PulseChain. And if all you're worried about is gas fee, then you don't have to worry about gas fee on Pulse. Just get EHEX on Pulse.
I heard there was a rumor that some other blockchains were trying to have a version of Hex over there. Was it AVAX or something? Or was it Matic?
Oh, geez.
So
I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet. I'm really
there's
surprised. It hasn't.
This is like
I
old
don't-
lore, is my understanding.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I
the
was
hex,
gonna say
hex
Jack
clones.
Levin was talking about making an X on the Zen chain, but I don't know if he was just poking fun at us or what he was doing. But that, and I think that it's possible to get wrapped Zen on Matic or Polygon or something like that. I remember hearing about that long ago, but I don't fuck with any of the hexes on any of the other chains as of now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
there's no
met
reason.
Jack at the Bitcoin convention, and
Mhm.
you know, and had long conversations with him, and you know, he brought some interesting concepts to mind, and I guess, you know, tried to show vulnerabilities in places and whatnot, and you know, he's not a bad dude. I don't think of him as a bad human being. I just think that he's trying to make his way in the space, trying to uncover things, trying to, you know, discover. I mean, look, he made mistakes. He made big mistakes, and you know, he came out with this fair launch thing, so he proofed a little concept, and now people are making it better. Like if you look, people are using these tools and things. Richard made a playground for crypto. Like, go out there and do your thing. You know, go out there and prove my concepts wrong or yours right or whatever. I mean, to see people fighting over it is ridiculous. It's like, go out and do your thing. Go out and make your shit either better or see if it fails. And that's great because we're here, you know, trying to build something. And I want to see everybody going out and doing cool stuff, making, you know, fair launch viable, making burning other cryptos for other cryptos a viable solution for things. You know, I mean, with PulseChain, we now have the ability to go make some really cool financial tools out there. And, but the one thing that I say is that all of that is new speculative, new horizon stuff. You know, that's very, very risky, all that stuff. Hex is not risky at all for the long-term hold. You know, anybody I told to get Hex back when it launched is doing just fine today. You know, those people who bought during the bull run, the last bull run, like my good friend who did it on the movie live, and I get shit for that all the time. Oh, you should be ashamed of yourself. Little DMs like, you should be ashamed of yourself bringing your friend and his family into this monstrous mess that you've gotten him into. And I said, yeah, you know what else I did? I helped him DCA in all the way to the bottom. I boosted his confidence enough to let him sacrifice for Pulse and PulseX. And he's still buying to this day. He knows that the next bull run's coming. He knows what he's got his hand on. He was upset that I didn't get a hold of him when I first got into Hex because of course, you know, he's like, I could have caught one cycle first. I said, yeah, but I didn't want to get you involved yet. I had to go out and test the waters on this, you know? And yeah, so here we are. Here we are. Next bull run imminent. And I'm doing the right things. I'm helping my people I'm onboarding, whether they came in at the top or not. I'm showing them how to do it the right way. And I've got some friends that I literally got one just sent me a message yesterday. How do I cut some of my losses? Show me how to get out of this crypto. Show me how. And I'm like, I ain't doing it. I ain't getting you out. I ain't gonna get you out.
I love it.
You're gonna hold on to that shit because if you sell now, you are losing. If you sell now, you are losing.
Yeah.
And we know what these charts do. Like I said in the beginning of the show, they go up and to the right. Period. End of story. That's what they do. This stuff in the middle is just wiggles of emotion, wiggles of market speculation and market capitulation. If you keep holding, eventually you'll be able to take what you want.
Even on that note, one of the things I heard for some OGs in crypto is that it's easy to look back on the charts and be like, oh yeah, look, there's the top. All you had to do is just hold it till then. But if you start to zoom in on those charts and don't look exclusively at the tops, it's a rocky road the entire way up.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. All right, everybody. Thanks for coming. Appreciate you. Monday, we've got a show with SJ. Who do we have a show with? She going to jump in here? Oh, she doesn't want to.
Always here for you, Hexicans.
Fashion coder.
Oh, we have Fashion Coder on Monday.
Meet FC. She's going to be speaking in Utah, so we're going to have her hanging out. Where did you get that eco builder? That is lovely.
These are the Aussies.
Yeah,
Oh,
Aussie's
nice.
Greatest. Shout out
That's
Aussie's
sick.
Greatest. They are a
Yeah.
PulseChain Tour sponsor.
Yep, I got one. I got mine right here. Aussie's Greatest.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Nice.
Thanks
I
for
need to step
continuing to
up.
have a
Thank you,
space
Cap.
for us, RG.
What's that, guys?
Thanks for continuing to have a
Thank you,
space
Cap.
for us.
Mhm.
Oh, thanks for coming. Thanks for supporting. Thanks for being here for the rest of the Hexicans. For those of you who are new, I hope you got something today. Look, just hang in there. It's all going to be okay. People out there doing their end zone dances, they'll just go away. Is what'll happen. They won't
They
continue
will.
to do their end zone dances. They'll just end up going away.
Yeah, they will. And we are going up. Like there are major things happening right now. Even if we're lagging just a tiny bit, nah, things are gonna be pumping that like crazy. So if you're not in now, I'd suggest getting in. Okay.
And if you're onboarding people, let's do our best to get them over to PulseChain, and let's do our best to be good stewards of PulseChain and show people how to do it, even though it's difficult. All right, everybody. Thanks for coming. We'll see you next time. See you on Monday.